Welcome, everyone, to the Shut Your Mouth Lounge, episode number 64. It's me, it's Alex, as per usual, and we got the two usuals here. We got Pink,
Hello there.
we got Addie,
Hey.
and for once in a while, we got a guest, Volcano.
Hello.
Hey. So,
It's exciting to be here.
This is the first guest we've had in several months, I want to say. When was the last time we had Ted on the podcast?
Yeah,
that was nearly a year ago.
Right.
and she,
Last
she's-
summer.
and she's the first girl. Probably the last as well.
Probably the
Oh.
last as well.
Oh my gosh.
Well, if we include the old Shut Your Mouth Lounge stuff, that is actually not. We had Rachel and we had Zelda as well.
That's
I don't
true.
I don't count the old Shut Your Mouth Lounge. That was New 52.
It's not canon. Not canon.
The Shut Your Mouth Lounge starts at episode 10.
Yeah.
Alright. Now let's start with a depressing topic. Yay! Punisher and Jessica Jones have been canceled.
Officially.
We all knew it was gonna happen. This was like when you got like a family member on their deathbed and they just won't go, and for several months, and like they're gonna go. So you've kind of
At one
already dealt with
point-
their death.
Right?
This is just it finally coming to pass.
It's like, yep, it had to happen sooner or later. And here it is.
Punisher's not at all shocking. I'm surprised that they canceled Jessica Jones before. Like, the third season is still going to come out. They said the third season is still going to come out, is the important part here. So it got canceled before its third season released.
They're making sure nobody's going to hold on to any hope that it'll stick around.
Well, let's hope that they actually finish the plot lines in season 3.
They did bring back the Purple Man, didn't they? Did anyone here actually watch Jessica Jones?
No.
I
No.
got only a couple episodes into the first season.
The only purple man I know is of freaking Five Nights at Freddy's fame, and I'm gonna assume that it's not that.
You can we'll hope it's not that.
Yeah.
That'd be real wild. You play Five Nights at Freddy's and you're being hunted by David Tennant. For my part, like, I'm not a fan of Jessica Jones, obviously. I tried to watch the first episode, and then there was, her and Luke getting it on, and I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
The important part there is I was trying to watch it with my family. And yeah, that got real awkward. Well, okay.
You made a poor decision that day.
And it doesn't...
So did everybody else in that room.
Yeah. It doesn't help that the storyline was, they're superpowered, so it has to be with each other, right?
Right.
They don't get into details. So, at that point, I was kind of like, if I ever watch this show, I'm going to be watching it by myself. And I never got around to watching it by myself. I was fine with Kristen Ritter. Yeah, sure. That works just as well, actually. Kristen Ritter is Jessica Jones. I mean, she doesn't seem like a tremendously talented actress, but if you just want to play a jilted alcoholic...
Right. That was her, a key reason why I feel like Jessica Jones worked better in the Defenders show as opposed to her own standalone show is because I felt that Jessica herself was kind of one-dimensional.
And it helped to have a kind of foil thing set up because she was very pessimistic. So putting her up against the other three who were very optimistic.
Right. She had a very good cast to bounce off of. And on her own show, she doesn't really have that. Because she has a supporting cast, unless they all die, which they might. But none of them really provide the foil. It's just Jessica kind of complaining and getting her way. And
I think Trish
everybody
is
else.
supposed to be a foil.
What's that?
I think Trish, Hellcat, is supposed to be a foil.
I'm pretty sure she was supposed to be as well. But as far as I progressed into the season, which admittedly was not very far, didn't seem like Hellcat really provided that foil in any meaningful way. So it's like
season 2 though actually made her Hellcat though, so.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, she had a more important role in season 2. I think because that cop boyfriend of hers bought it. Yeah, any hope there was for him to be involved in the Born Again storyline, gone. Good old Netflix. Now that I think about it, Defenders did have a pretty good whole thing with philosophy there. Because Daredevil was an optimist, Jessica was a pessimist, Luke was a realist, and Danny was apathetic. And also pathetic, but he was also apathetic.
Danny was just an idiot.
Danny was mostly pathetic.
Yeah.
The fourth philosophy, idiocy.
Yeah, you need that one to balance it out.
Yeah.
As all things should be.
Yes.
Now, the proper way to keep it balanced was to keep Danny in a hole for half the season, and that's what they did. If only Danny had spent his own series in a hole. Just make it the Ward show. Yeah, that's kind of what they wanted to do with that show, honestly. Punisher is a more depressing one, because I'm a huge Punisher fan, and I love John Bernthal's Frank and all that. But, I mean, Punisher was... It's kind of surprising that Punisher was able to be as successful as it was. And Pink has left. It's not a podcast without Pink dropping out.
Always.
No, here he is. Good.
Yeah. It's like there was an awkward silence there on my end, and I was like wondering what was going on. So I start my own conversation. And then I looked over and noticed that my Wi-Fi went kaput.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, the thing with the Iron Fist TV series is that they really should have just made It's Always Sunny in Kunlun.
That would require them to actually show Kunlun, Addy. And that
I guess so.
That never happened.
Problem with Iron Fist was that honestly, Iron Fist should have been one of the ABC Marvel shows, because they were a lot more willing to just say, "All right, here's a crappy CG budget. We'll go ahead and make it high fantasy." Like Netflix should have handled the street level guys that didn't have much craziness going on, you know?
Right.
And outside of Danny, that is what they handled. Danny was definitely more ABC or Hulu's speed. Now, of course, the special effects in those shows are awful, but they exist.
But they're there.
It's a sad day. Rest in peace, Punisher. Rest in peace, Jessica Jones. I want to say that Disney will bring you back on their platform, but they probably won't.
We'll sort of grasp onto what little hope we have and move on.
Yeah. It's the 5 stages of grief, right?
Yeah.
We've hit acceptance. We already hit acceptance, even though it just recently happened.
We started with acceptance. We were going through all those other stages way back when.
Yeah.
On to brighter news, there's been a whole fountain of rumors floating about Nintendo involving Microsoft as well.
Yeah, and there's other news that I didn't post, so I'm not sure if you saw it. You probably did. You literally couldn't miss it.
The Game Pass rumors?
No, Reggie Fils-Aime quit.
Oh, Reggie Fils-Aime.
Yeah.
I did see that. I didn't know if we wanted to talk about it much. I mean, we'll all kind of pay our respects here, because Reggie Fils-Aime was a fairly bright individual in the darkness that is, video game presenting. But,
right.
Yeah.
However will we proceed without our bodies being ready?
I was about to say, so does this mean that our bodies are no longer ready? Are we past our best before date?
Let's just hope that Dave Bowser is able to bring in similar...
Dave Bowser will just kidnap Miyamoto's daughter.
Okay, a live-action Mario with Miyamoto as Mario would actually be great. Don't even put any special effects on him to try and make him look young again. It's just old man Miyamoto.
Yeah,
The
and it's not
old
actually,
grizzled veteran Mario.
and it's not actually like it's not actually a Super Mario game. They just redo Donkey Kong. It's just Bowser instead of Donkey Kong.
Pink saying old grizzled Mario makes me think like Mario smoking a cigar on the back of a truck.
I'm just
The
imagining.
Mushroom Kingdom has changed.
I'm imagining big box, big box, big boss.
That's accurate.
Yeah, it is. I'm imagining Big Boss in a Mario costume.
Oh man, then we should get that if they ever port one of the Metal Gears to a Nintendo console. I'd love that. We got Raiden Snake.
Yeah.
Oh no, we didn't get Raiden Snake. We got Raiden Ezio.
Yeah, we did.
Right, we got Altair Snake. Right. Okay, that's what it was. But yes, it's good to see that Reggie Fils-Aimé is retiring, rather than dying in the job or
Right.
quitting or getting
Yeah.
fired.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It was kind of crazy because it's like I didn't think Reggie would ever go away, but upon hearing him retiring, it's like, oh wait a second, this guy has also been around since forever. I don't remember a period of my life where Reggie wasn't the American president of Nintendo or whatever his title was.
E3 is gonna be weird from now on.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
The thing is, this Bowser guy just needs to constantly cosplay as Bowser from now on to get acceptance.
Yeah, if he
Get acceptance.
if he leans into it, man, I'll take it. Just lean full into it. He's just Bowser
Did you see the photo they had of him accepting his new role?
now. I know, I did
Yes.
not.
It's
In
fun.
that photo, there are little plushies of Mario and Luigi, and they're tied up in a game controller in the
Ah.
background.
We keep speaking over Volcano.
Sorry.
No, you're all good. I was laughing.
There's something I enjoy about now the idea that Nintendo's president of America is going to spend the ads terrorizing Mario. Now, if only they... Okay, the best Nintendo ad for next year's E3, they do the Super Mario 64 Bowser boss fight, complete with the whole ending of Mario doing the giant swing on him. But it's a tiny little Mario doll in stop motion, but it's swinging around full-size Dave Bowser.
No, it's Miyamoto dressed up as Mario, swinging him around by his ankles.
But the thing we can all agree on is, at some point, Mario needs to put Dave Bowser in the giant swing.
Yes.
Yes.
It needs to happen.
Was there ever any explanation for why Mario is so damn strong he can lift Bowser so casually?
Pasta
Mushrooms.
power. Pasta power.
Pasta mushrooms. Alright.
Yeah.
The combination. It's a power no one's
Mush-
conceived.
Mushroom spaghetti, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, could be. I can't say that I've ever had mushroom spaghetti, and I'm certainly not as strong as Mario, so there's your answer.
So, on to the fountain of Nintendo rumors that have come out in the last week. It started with a rumor from Game Informer's Imran Khan saying that Nintendo was reviving a IP that we had thought dead. And then this was followed up by another rumor saying that dead IP would be Scalebound, which was canceled, was it a year or 2 years ago?
A year, I want to say.
Right, Hideki Kamiya's new thing, since now he's letting somebody else do Bayonetta. And that does sound like it'd fit, considering that Nintendo pretty much took over Bayonetta, so I guess they're just going to be snatching up anything Kamiya works on. But it fit even further with the other rumor that has come out, that Nintendo and Microsoft are going to be cooperating even further, and maybe bringing the Microsoft Game Pass onto the Switch?
Oh.
Has anyone else heard further details about this?
I
That's
did
all I've
not.
heard.
I mean, to be honest, the only rumors out of the ones you've listed thus far was that Microsoft would be bringing the game, or could potentially bring the Game Pass to the Switch. I had not heard anything else regarding Nintendo this week outside of Reggie.
Yeah, the rumors I've heard is that Microsoft and Nintendo might be bringing Game Pass to the Switch. Ori and the Blind Forest will probably be getting released for the Switch sometime next year, and the Scalebound maybe.
Huh. This sounds like a deal that's helping Nintendo a lot, but not Microsoft.
Yeah, I mean, people are saying that it's a good deal for Microsoft as well, just because Microsoft wants to move away from making consoles, and Nintendo wants to move away from being a software thing. So Microsoft will handle the software part, and Nintendo will handle the hardware part, and they'll bring down Sony or some shit. I don't know.
That would kind of be a great idea, because upon thinking, like, Nintendo really doesn't know what they're doing with online stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd find it curious how this Game Pass thing would work. Because they obviously can't set all the games that are on Game Pass right now cannot be set up on a Switch. That'd be a porting nightmare. So
Right.
would it be a streaming case?
Yeah, it would be a streaming case. From the sources I've read, which is none really, just people summarizing, the rumors. People are saying that it's how they imagined it is that you would buy Game Pass for the Xbox, and then you'd go to your Switch, and then if you have internet connection, then you can play the Xbox games on your Switch. So it's basically PS Now, the Xbox version.
But you'd be able to get this without owning an Xbox.
Yeah. I mean, technically you can get a PS Now without owning a PS4. It's just that PS Now is not available in my country, so.
This, well, it would beg further questions of how would the Switch's controls translate. I was just about to ask how would the Switch's controls translate to the Xbox, and I'm just suddenly remembering. Oh right, the Switch has suspiciously similar button setup to the Xbox, anyways.
Right. I've used a Pro controller on the Switch, and it's basically the same as the Xbox controller. It's just the buttons, the face buttons are in different spots.
Which is annoying.
So, yeah, whenever I play on the Switch, it's like, press X to do this. So I'm like, okay, I'll press X, and I'm pressing Y instead, because those are flipped.
And it really gets me, it also changes if you're using the little Joy-Cons.
Yes.
So I have to be like, press the bottom button, and it makes me sound like an ass. The bottom button. What an ass. What?
Press 3. Press 3.
That'd be the worst. Just in the numbers.
Yeah, just instead of actually, telling you the buttons, it just lists you the freaking Evo, the fighting game button layout numbers. What was I going to say? Freaking. All right. I hope that if this is only one half of the deal, that we somehow get Pokken on the Xbox.
I don't think we'd see any of Nintendo's first-party game. If we see first-party games trade consoles, that's pretty much your confirmation that Nintendo and Microsoft are just working together from now on.
Right.
Because there is no one that's going to be more anal retentive about their first-party properties than Nintendo.
Yeah.
I mean, the real crazy stuff that people are spreading right now is like the rumors that this means Master Chief will be in Smash, and I'm just like, no. That'd be crazy, but no.
They will have the DLC skin for Wii Fit Trainer. It's Cortana.
That would be reasonable enough. I could almost see it, but Master Chief is a character I can't see.
I don't even know what the hell he'd do aside from the freaking Dio Brando. What was it? Rose Roller summon, but instead of the Rose Roller, it's a Warthog.
I haven't put much. I've only played the first Halo, so I can't really vouch. Oh, there was a big laser, the Spartan laser. He could probably just bring out that. Call it.
He's actually just the Predator from MKX.
Yeah. He probably would be able to cloak, too. So. Out of any first-person shooter character, Master Chief would probably actually work the best, considering he actually gets a sword.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those rumors got progressively less and less reasonable. Like, that's a scale there. Nintendo's reviving a canceled game. That's pretty reasonable. I'd almost say that's a guarantee. Nintendo's bringing back Scalebound.
Yeah.
Fairly reasonable. Nintendo's bringing in Microsoft Game Pass. I'm doubtful. Nintendo's bringing in Master Chief. Fuck no.
Nintendo is releasing Banjo 3 alongside bundled with Half-Life 3.
I was about to say, there's got to be a catch there with how much Microsoft hates Rare. There's a catch.
Yeah, the thing is, but the reason Banjo 3 has not been made is because the owner of Rare made a deal with Gabe and they only released Banjo 3 as a bundle with Half-Life 3.
Along with Duke Nukem Forever, right? Right.
That's already out, so that doesn't work.
Not in our hearts, it isn't. And you know what's the most ridiculous news of all?
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. Played by Chris Hemsworth.
It's just weird.
It's
It's almost wrong.
that's one of the most befuddling headlines I've ever seen.
So they're going to take Chris Hemsworth and then they're going to put a tomato on his head. And then just put instead of his arms, they're just going to sellotape pythons to his shoulders.
Just direct pythons.
Yeah,
Don't worry, Chris, it's completely safe.
we promise.
As he's being asphyxiated by the pythons.
I can't feel my arms. Don't worry, Hulk couldn't either.
Don't worry, they are your arms.
You don't need arms anymore. These are better.
So, how will they imitate Hulk Hogan's hot dog skin?
Lots of CGI.
I was about to say that.
They're gonna put him in like a little cylinder and just spray as much suntan spray as you can, but like not the spray stuff. What is that stuff? The fake tan stuff?
No,
Tanner?
what they're gonna do is they're gonna kill like a freaking like Scandinavia's worth of pigs, and they're just gonna cover Chris Hemsworth in their intestines for the most accurate look.
It now dawns on me. This project is effectively a project to turn one of the most good-looking men in Hollywood to one of the worst-looking men in Hollywood.
Well, you know, he was the right gay guy.
What did Chris do to deserve this?
He was part of the first two Thor movies. I hereby sentence you to 10 weeks working on a shitty movie.
I hereby sentence you to being Hulk Hogan.
The thing that's down first of all, most important information is, to my understanding, Hulk Hogan's the producer.
Oh,
How did he manage to land that job?
I bet you he's bankrolling part of this, even though he's got no money.
Yeah, he's broke from all the marriages and all his other lifestyle choices.
He still got some secret money from that time he bankrupted one of those newspapers.
Oh, he did get a ton of money from Gawker. You're right.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, it was like 30 million or something.
Like, now that I've won all this cash after suing that one site for leaking a sex tape, I'm gonna use this money to make a movie about how good I was in the old days.
That is that is the most Hulk Hogan
Brother.
sentence I've ever heard.
And in no scene will Hulk Hogan have less than a poodle's worth of hair.
Every scene he will be shirtless.
Yeah.
So that's why they got Hemsworth.
Hemsworth's not gonna be able to imitate Hogan's physique, because Hogan's physique, like Hemsworth is a modern day muscular guy, so he's cut. Hogan
Right.
just injected steroids in his ass, so he's just a big bubble.
They're gonna take one of those sumo outfits and then cut it to shape.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, the more we talk about the stupidity of this project, the more I'm interested.
This is must see right here.
If Hogan wasn't the producer on this, I'd say this could be a really interesting movie, because it would be a big movie shitting on Hogan and how awful
Yeah.
of a
But
person
because
he is.
Hogan is a part of it, it won't be
Also-
shitting on Hogan at all.
I just want to read a tweet from Matthew, the guy who makes Botchamania. So he said that he'll watch the Hogan biopic if they do it as the opposite of of House of Cards, with Hulk narrating this bullshit and everyone else talking. So like Hogan, I slammed the 900-pound Andre. I was never that heavy. He died soon after. I lived for another 6 years.
I'm kind of expecting a little bit of that. I'm expecting, like, we'll have scenes of him meeting Randy Savage and they're best friends immediately with a little bit of rival edge, right?
They meet with Randy Savage and then they do that dog scene, the spaghetti scene, but it's a Slim Jim.
No, it's with Miss Elizabeth and Randy's watching in the background.
Yeah.
And Randy's just angry, but he didn't do anything. This should
That will be the setup to the Mega Powers Explode part.
Yeah. In essence, this should be a movie about Hogan ruining, like, Ricky Steamboat, ruining Randy Savage, ruining... Who else did he really just... Wasn't Hogan pretty much the entire reason why Honky Tonk Man was an Intercontinental Champion?
I want to say yes.
Who was it he screwed over in that deal?
The fans.
I was about to say, everyone.
Has no one beaten Honky Tonk's record yet?
No, well,
How?
Miz might have. I'll have to double check it. Miz might have. I think Miz is only the second longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time, though.
Miz will get the highest amount of Intercontinental Championships of the Honky Tonk Miz.
Perfect.
That sounds like a Curtis
He's
Axel gimmick.
incredibly close. I don't recall how many wins with the Intercontinental title he has, but I'm pretty sure he's pretty close to Jericho.
I'd imagine Miz has the most wins because back in Honky Tonk's day, the champion didn't defend it very often.
Right.
I'm looking it up right now. Who is the longest reigning Intercontinental? But the thing is, I'm wondering, like, if this movie will be entertaining in a whole nother dimension of Hogan lying about himself. I want someone to correct me on this if I'm wrong, because it's pretty ludicrous, but at the same time, it's so ludicrous it might be true. Honky Tonk is still the longest reigning champion, by the way. But didn't at one point Hulk Hogan claimed he was supposed to be the original guitarist for Metallica, but he wasn't able to do it because he was the wrestling? Oh my
Yeah.
Yes. That is a true story.
No, the thing is, Hogan was originally supposed to be Metallica, the whole band.
The whole band.
That is one of the most delusional things I've ever heard in my life. Could you imagine looking in the mirror and thinking you're so awesome that you retroactively imagine yourself being the original guitarist for Metallica? Just so out of connection with reality. Like, what kind of world does Hogan live in, you wonder? Hogan's
One
world.
full of
Hogan's
one full
world,
of-
obviously, but
one full of standing beds.
half full of tanning beds, half full of Bubba the Love Sponge's wife.
Yeah.
And another half full of Bubba the Love Sponge.
Possibly.
Hogan has 1.5 worlds.
Hogan starts in 1.5 men now. he replaced Charlie Sheen.
Oh.
Uh,
1.5 men. The one man is Andre, and Hogan's the half.
yeah. No, 1.5 men. The one, or freaking 2.5 men. The 2 men are Andre, and the half is Hornswoggle.
All right, sure. We'll just go ahead and say Andre's 2 men. I mean, yeah, it kind of works.
I mean, he's probably the size of 2 men, so
500 pounds, yeah. I probably weigh 150, so. Andre is like, Andre is more than 3 of me. It would take 3 Alexes to beat Andre the Giant.
And Hulk Hogan, power slammed him or whatever the hell. I forgot the move.
He power slammed a 2-ton Andre the Giant.
Yes, Hulk Hogan did the Canadian Destroyer to Andre the Giant.
I like how we're exaggerating it more and more. Hulk Hogan dropped a nuclear bomb on Andre the Giant.
Hulk Hogan picked up the Tokyo Dome and suplexed that onto Andre the Giant.
Hulk Hogan threw a moon at Andre the Giant.
Hulk Hogan became Galactus and he ate Andre the Giant.
Let's stop there before we just go further. Yeah. Before we go further up our own asses, let's stop there. This is. I'm not sure which entices me more. The idea of this being a 0 out of 10 bankrolled by Hulk Hogan and funded by his bizarro delusions, or the idea of it being a 10 out of 10 film about how much of a train wreck of a person Hulk Hogan is.
It's got to be good either way.
Yeah, let's hope it's both.
Yeah. Well, first, brother, I had to turn down the offer to be the guitarist for Metallica, and then I ensured that Ricky Steamboat would never work in the United States ever again.
Exciting stuff. What I'm really curious to see in the upcoming future is who else they'll cast as what wrestlers.
That has got to be the most fascinating part.
That's what I'm excited for.
Who could they possibly...
Dwayne Johnson was Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns wouldn't wrestle for about 30 years, brother.
But put him in there anyways. Because Rock's going in the Paige movie, and Rock never met Paige prior to working on that movie. So just throw Roman in here.
Rock will be dressed up like a 5-year-old kid. His head will be hanging off of a woman carrying a fake baby.
The woman's smaller than he is.
Yeah, his head is bigger than half the woman is, but
and he's got an awful fake mullet.
Yeah.
He's still got the goatee. Yeah. I think that they'll probably try to skip out on some of the wrestlers, but they have to have somebody in the role of Randy for sure, and they got to have somebody in the role of Andre for sure. Those two they cannot skip.
Who you cut out?
They got to have somebody in the role of Randy Savage, and they got to have somebody in the role of Andre.
Yeah.
Andre, yeah.
We also need Ultimate Warrior.
Warrior, I think they could skip over. I think Warrior is more important for Randy than he is for Hogan.
Right. I mean, I'm pretty sure all the Warrior stuff that he did with Hogan was more important to Warrior himself, because that was that transitional period where they wanted Warrior to be the next big guy, but Warrior just couldn't pull it off. So
I just want some poor soul to have to pull off a Hulk Hogan promo.
An Ultimate Warrior promo, you mean?
Yeah.
Yes, I too would like to see somebody to try to accomplish that.
Warrior's such a flash in the pan that they could just pretend he wasn't there and nobody would notice.
Right.
I feel like they'd cast nobodies for certain roles. Like Andre's definitely getting a nobody, right? Because they have to go with someone who's actually Andre's size, unless they want to use camera tricks.
Right.
And so then I think
I wonder how big Chris Hemsworth is, because
big.
Yeah,
6'5", I think.
All right, yeah, that's pretty big.
They're going to take Andre's model out of the 2K games and use that.
Andre's just going to be CGI.
Yeah.
And he'll be CGI to be like 3 feet taller than he actually was.
He's
Also,
12 feet
he-
And now
tall.
he'll really tower over on not Andre. Hulk
It also-
Hogan.
He'll also be as wide as the ring.
As wide as he ate the ring.
Yeah.
Andre reaches "Oh Lord, he coming" levels.
I'm just seeing the Andre the Giant version of the Tom and Jerry gag where they ate something and took the shape of it.
It gives him power.
Yeah.
Ah,
I know the Giant works as a trampoline ring.
You know, I suppose Big Show's not doing anything nowadays, so they'll probably just get him to be Andre. That's what WCW did.
that would be awful. God bless Show. He's not the greatest actor in the world. Andre just need to be quiet most of the time. I don't think they could keep Show quiet. Show's a naturally funny guy, and he knows it. Yeah. I mean, really, there are much more interesting people in the wrestling world than Hogan. But I guess we get Hogan.
Right.
We could've
There are
got
more
a-
interesting people in the wrestling world, but there's also no bigger star in the wrestling world than Hogan.
There's a bigger star. Stone Cold is a bigger star. Well, Rock's a bigger star than all of them now.
Rock is a bigger star now, but way back in 2004 when he was getting ready to leave, I wouldn't say he was the biggest star because he was still eclipsed by Stone Cold and maybe moderately Hulk Hogan. But after those guys' careers ended, you know, Stone Cold, not quite relevant anymore. The Rock, transcendent. He's everywhere.
Yeah, Batista's getting there too, which is shocking.
It's really shocking. And he did it as Drax.
Yeah, he did it by... In contrast to Rock, who did it by having a smile and huge muscles, Batista did it by actually being a good actor. Nobody expected that.
Batista will just need to act into being a good MMA fighter.
Yeah. Can we cut the thing of professional wrestlers trying to go into MMA, please?
Please.
Because we got Lesnar and that worked out, and then we got CM Punk, Bobby Lashley, Batista, all of whom it did not work out.
Right.
Shamrock.
Shamrock was the original though, and I'm pretty sure he started out in MMA.
Shamrock was MMA before he was wrestling. He was a reverse case.
Yeah.
He was a
Shamrock was a
Rousey
Japanese
case.
No, Shamrock was a Japanese case.
Yeah. All over in
Shamrock
Japan,
wishes he were a Rousey case though. I don't think he won any titles.
he did. He was Intercontinental Champion.
That's true. It totally slipped my mind.
He might have won it multiple times, and I think he also picked up tag team at some point.
Maybe with
Shamrock-
the corporation, but I don't. Other than that, I don't recall.
Shamrock was squared circled octagon champion.
Like, he was supposed to be WWE champion, according to Bret Hart, because before the screw job happened, Bret Hart wanted to drop the title to him after Survivor Series the next night on Raw, but you know,
That I've not heard that story, but that sounds like Brett, honestly.
yeah,
Like there are not many people left in the industry who have such a mind for legitimacy as Brett did. I can see where Brett would be like, this would be great for the championship.
right.
And it'd make him look good because he went out getting beat by this Mr. MMA badass. So it was understandable that he'd get beat by some guy who's new and coming from the MMA world, which is brand spanking new and no one's adjusted to it yet.
Right.
But people just don't generally apply to logic to wrestling anymore either. It's all either you get pinned, either you go over or you don't.
On the Switch.
What the hell?
Controllers gotta charge.
I think she's whispering to little kids.
Ah.
Yeah, so sorry.
Oh, you're good. There is a mute button if you're unaware.
Oh, there is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard something
I
about
forget.
raining on the Switch. I was What's going on over
It's
Yes.
raining on the Switch.
No,
Volcano?
it's not raining on the Switch. I was telling them they're playing on it.
Yep.
I'm just hearing her whisper over there. I'm like, Volcano's infiltrating a fortress while on a podcast.
Multitasking.
No,
Yeah.
no,
No.
no, Volcano is premiering our new ASMR podcast.
Shut up, Eddie. Shut up. God. Now on to a note Volcano definitely won't be able to talk about. Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
Ah, that's true.
So there's two new operators, Mozzie and what's the chick's name?
Redlock.
Gridlock. I'm not going to be able to remember that name. That's not a good name.
It really isn't. It's like Mozzie, I have no idea what it means, but it's very catchy and you remember it.
Well,
I
Mozzie
forgot Gridlock's name, like the second they announced it.
in Hungarian means movie theater, so
All right.
so yeah, welcome to the new Rainbow Six Siege operator movie theater.
Movie theater. Perfect.
He's just Centurion. I knew.
Yeah. No, his ability is IMAX 3D, and it just messes your screen up. It messes everybody else's screen up.
Yeah, it makes your screen go into 3D mode.
Welcome to In Joke City, people. So the new operators, we've got Mozzie, who is a defensive operator, yet has a kind of offensive purpose, and Gridlock, who is an offensive operator, but has a kind of defensive purpose.
Yeah.
Weird.
I mean, everything is reversed in Australia.
True. The toilets flush backwards, and the operators play backwards. I haven't done a whole lot of research into these two, so I think this is where you two are going to have to take it away.
All right, sounds good. What's really of note about Mozzie is, like, as you said, he's a very offensive operator despite being a defense op. And because he can hack the drones and use them for himself, it really changes the game because attackers, it's like, they have certain advantages in almost every regard, and drones are a big part of that. So, if you can hack a drone and the opposing team doesn't realize it, you can leave that drone in very nice locations to reveal the entire enemy team to your defenders, and that can result in some dire consequences.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you remember, they said that for the defenders, it shows the text drone with an outline. For the attackers, it just changes the color of the lights.
Yes.
So that's gonna be easy to
So-
spot.
Yeah. If you're concentrating on, like, entering a room or you're in a firefight, you're already not looking at the drone. But to have to look at the drone and notice that it's got a blue light instead of a red light in order to know that it's not a friendly drone, it's a very dangerous situation you find yourself in, and you're probably going to die. You're probably going to die as a result of it.
Do they not have, like, a notification that tells you, like, oh, hey, your drone got taken over?
I don't
If
think
you
so.
can make the call out that your drone has been hacked, then yeah. But aside from that, it doesn't alert your teams in any automatic way, so you do have to make that call out.
Yeah, the only way the attacker team can know this is by either the callouts or by having Dokkaebi.
But
Oh, that's right.
it's been so long since I've played Rainbow Six Siege Online, I forgot Dokkaebi was an offensive character.
Dokkaebi is very much
Which
offensive.
is funny because I always play her when we play Terrace Hunt, even though she's absolutely useless in that.
I mean, hey, I'm going to play Mozzie when he comes out. There's like only a limited amount of more useless you can get.
In fairness, most all the defensive operators are kind of useless on defense terrorist hunt mode.
When they
whatnot.
get infinite thermite charges, yeah.
Yeah. It's like, ironically, I feel like Mute's stronger in terrorist hunt than he is in multiplayer.
I feel like Maestro is pretty evenly balanced in Terrorist Hunt.
Maestro's always going to be good because his ability is a camera, and cameras are I don't know what a good word is here, but they are an excellent ability. And the fact that his cameras are bulletproof, unlike what's her face, Valkyrie's.
Valkyrie's cameras are bulletproof, aren't they?
No, they are not.
Oh, I thought for the longest time that was her exclusive thing.
No.
Nope.
Interesting. Did not know that.
Yeah, the other part that makes Maestro's evil eyes good is that it has a laser.
Yeah.
You know, it's a low power laser, but it's still a bloody laser.
It's a very low power laser, and that's why I feel like the laser aspect of it is not good in terrorist hunt, because there's no
Point using.
you're not going to take out a terrorist with that laser unless he's already been shot by one of your teammates.
Well, yeah,
And
but
if he's already been shot by one of your teammates, they're probably going to secure the kill really quick because the AI does not have a concept of a tactical retreat.
It's in the same
Depends.
category as Twitch's, her stun
Yeah,
gun,
her
right?
shock drone. It's like, if you can manage to kill a terrorist with Maestro's laser or Twitch's shock drone, my hat is off to you, but it's probably not going to happen.
One of us did get it one time, and it's the only time it'll ever happen, but it happened. I'm curious, how does he take control of the drones?
he shoots you can either shoot them directly with his special ability gun, or B, you can shoot at the window frames or shit like that with the ability gun, and then whenever the drone presses to whatever, goes through the window or the door or whatever, then the shot will automatically hack them and take them over.
Yeah, are you familiar with how Cade's Electroclaw works?
No, I'm not.
Alright, so when you throw it and it hits its location, there's a little radius of effect. It's like a little circle
Like
around
mutes.
that object that you've thrown. So if a drone goes into that area of effect, the little what they call Mozzie's ability, the pest,
Yeah,
it will
pest.
jump onto that drone and hack it.
So it's like Mute's little jammer, how it's just got...
Yes.
Okay.
It's a lot like Mute's Jammer.
It's,
Which
it's a,
it
it's
can
a better
actually
boost.
combo with Mute's Jammer as well, because if Mute jams a drone, you can also have your little pest in that area of effect. So once the drone is jammed, the pest will jump straight onto the drone, and then it's yours. Because once you've got that drone friendly to your defensive side, it's no longer inhibited by the Mute Jammer.
Oh, interesting. So
Yeah.
there's no team jamming.
Yeah, no team jamming.
Huh. So
I mean, it doesn't make sense, but it works on a gameplay level.
Well, I mean, we knew it was past this point of making sense as soon as Lion was introduced.
Yeah. Nano Machine's son.
Well, would it be a more effective tactic just to have Mute put the mutes on the walls and then have Mozzie put his little drone stealer on the doorways?
Right. So that's exactly right. Because now Mute doesn't have to worry about making sure drones don't enter the room, because Mozzie can't take care of that, which means you've got at least one extra wall that should be Mute jammed, so no thermite or breach charge is going to blow it up.
Interesting. But Hibana can get around Mute jammers, can't she?
No, she cannot.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. I feel like Mute shouldn't have been focusing on hitting the drones anyways.
No, that's just for the startup phase if you can. Once a round is started, all your Mute jammers need to be in objective room on a wall. If you haven't done that, you failed as Mute.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you're focusing on hitting the drones, then that's not only is that kind of a crapshoot just partially because, like, the drones, how many times do the drones just spawn in the neighboring room? right?
Right. It's like there are so many rounds where the round will start and like 0.3 seconds into it, the objective has been found by blank. And you're like, oh, perfect. I'm okay with them knowing exactly where we are. That's exactly what I wanted.
We're gonna do it eventually. Sooner rather than later, you know. And Gridlock's whole thing is that she...
She's an anti-roamer. That's all there is to it. And I feel like Gridlock, as cool as Mozzie is, I think Gridlock's the real standout here. Because she has those little bear trap type things where you throw it down and then it duplicates, and those duplicate, and those duplicate until you've got an entire hallway just filled with those little spikes. And that denies a lot of roamers the ability to either stalk you or enter rooms that you don't want them entering. So, like, if it's a bomb defusal mission and you've gotten into that bomb room and nobody else is there, you can just have Gridlock put her little gridlocks, quote unquote, on the doorway, and then they have to shoot all those things out to actually get in the room without taking damage. And if they're shooting them out, then you know exactly where the defenders are coming from. It's like Gridlock's either going to be very overpowered, or people aren't going to be using her right. That's what I see happening.
I feel like Gridlock will make the use of silencers a lot more widespread.
Yeah, probably. It's certainly a possibility, but maybe not as much, because the defenders, I'm pretty sure their guns either have a much slower fire rate than the attackers or already do lower damage than the attackers. I mean, that's certainly not the case for all the defenders. I'm pretty sure Frost her guns have some of the highest damage in the game.
Absolutely.
For either attacker or defender. But a lot of the defenders, they do have very, I don't know what the correct term is, soft guns, I suppose. Like Mira, her primary SMG, I want to say it is, it's got a very high rate of fire, but the damage output, it's like 11. Whereas, like, right off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure IQ, her primary weapon, has a damage of 38. So that's a pretty big difference. So maybe a lot of roamers will swap to the silencers, which honestly could also help them if they miss their first initial shots. It's like it won't give those fire indicators to the people you're shooting at, so you'll still have a little blanket of safety if you miss. But for the anchors, they probably won't be swapping to silencers, or at least I can't see any really swapping over on the off chance that they get locked out of room by Gridlock. It's a very there's a word for this that has slipped my mind, and it was just on the tip of my tongue. Situational. It's a very situational situation where you would find yourself locked outside of a room as an anchor, where you would have to shoot the Gridlocks in order to get back into the room. So that sort of situation is far more likely to happen on bomb defuse. But if you're playing like hostage or what's the other one? Secure area. It's like the anchors probably aren't going to be locked out of the room. So the competitive standard of bomb, that's where Gridlock will obviously make her biggest impact. But for any other mode, not as much.
Does the suppressor actually do anything other than just making your shots a little bit quieter?
It makes your shots quiet, and you've seen the little white indicators to indicate where you're being shot at from, right? Have you seen those?
I think I have. I don't remember that being a mechanic, but I guess it is, yeah.
There are little indicators that will appear in the direction you're being shot at, and if the person shooting at you has a suppressor on, those indicators will not be there. And if you have a suppressor, you also won't leave bullet trails. So there's no real way to know where you're being shot at if you're being shot at with a person with a suppressor on.
That knowledge turns the suppressor from one of the most useless items in that game to one of the most useful.
Right.
Yeah, what do you think I put suppressors on my guns that I plan on using in multiplayer?
We play Terrorist Hunt so much.
Yeah, but I'm too lazy to switch them out. Because I'll just forget.
I'm really... Okay, that changes. That's blowing my mind regarding Rainbow Six now. That's opening up entirely new tactical response possibilities.
Entirely new packs of Tic Tacs
Yeah.
opened.
Open just for you.
So, Addy already bought Mozzie, right?
No, not yet. I don't think
He's
he's
got the
available.
money to buy Mozzie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because season 1 of year 4, I want to say this is, in the upcoming Australian patch.
Is this the start of
It
year
hasn't
4?
come out yet.
I guess this is the start of year 4. Huh.
Yeah.
Right, because the Danish guys are up next, aren't they?
Yes. Sven and freaking what other name do I know from them? Sven and others, fam. I don't know.
Yeah. Gridlock sounds interesting. Well, Gridlock's whole thing doesn't sound very good to me just because I don't think like that whenever I play Rainbow Six. But I like her. So I'm in the opposite. Yeah. I'm in the same territory as Addy, I think. Where Addy's mostly buying Mozzie for his design, right?
No, his personality.
Ah, his personality.
Yeah, his design I don't care for, but I love the crazy Australian character archetype. I
It's
made
an archetype now.
Yeah, I made Junkrat, so
Yeah.
You love Mad Max characters.
yeah. I love the I live, I die, I live again
Yeah.
characters.
That's pretty much these two characters right here. Like, it cracks me up when these games are like, alright, Australia is just Mad Max land. Like, that's legitimately just what Overwatch did, was they nuked Australia, and alright, now everyone there is a Mad Max person.
Yep.
Ah. Well, I think that's about it for Rainbow Six news.
Yeah.
I assume they're introducing a new map alongside them.
Yeah, the
Yes.
Outback.
It will be the only new map coming out this year, if I recall correctly.
Oh.
It's just a little bit disappointing, but at the same time, I can understand it. And we're also getting map reworks and map buffs.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. Like, a big one that I was mentioning to Addy the other day while we were playing was Canal. If you remember Canal, that's the one with 2 big buildings and that little bridge type thing in the middle.
It's the German naval embassy thing, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Canal is the place where the original Operation Claymore happened.
Yes.
Yes.
You've got good history there. But it's not a good map, and
No.
I was quite happy to hear that it was being reworked.
Canal
Or
needs
will be.
overhauling. Tower needs overhauling. Skyscraper needs overhauling. Favela needs overhauling. Like,
Chunka needs overhauling.
Skyscraper is so bad, like, it's so badly in need of an overhaul that pretty much they need to torch the entire original design. Like,
Just send it back like 1500 years, or yeah, back into the past. Like we're on the Korean rice fields or whatever.
I was when you guys said Outback, I was kind of thinking like, oh, so it's not built in a building, it's just the 10 of you fighting in an open field.
No, it's the Outback because you can get shrimp on the barbie for only $9.99.
I'm like imagining the offensive team calls in support from a team of fucking kangaroos. Just come in and start punching you.
Kangaroos and emus.
No, not the emus. The emus are the terrorists on that map.
I suppose that's true.
But the emus are all bombers.
Exploding emus.
That'll be the new mode, and they won't bring back zombie mode. This year's event will be emu hunt.
No,
It'll be more.
this
It'll
year's
be
event-
harder.
This year's event will be the Great Emu War.
If you have Mozzie or Gridlock on your team, you automatically lose.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's about it for Rainbow Six. We should get to
Right.
talking about the schedule of uploads for the upcoming week. And I have to step out for probably about 10 minutes, so I'm gonna need you guys to keep going with that. And if that comes to an end, go ahead and move on to what Pink has been doing for the past week.
All right.
So I'll go first with what's coming out on the main channel because I completely slacked off this week, and last week I said stuff would be coming out. Spoiler
So
alert!
Soul
I
Sims
never
came
actually. Go ahead.
out. Soul Sims came out.
Only The Sims came out because I never actually got around to logging into any of our channels. And so everything I said would be coming out did not come out, obviously. So, last week when I said we'd have a PV Pink and Sengoku Basara and maybe
that's this
something else
week.
like Fallout, yeah, that'll be coming out this week instead.
All right. As for my personal channel, I'm still working on that one review of freaking Assassin's Creed Rogue. I still need to shoot more bloody footage.
More?
Yes, I need to go back and shoot modern day footage because I need to shoot modern day footage. Because I forgot. It was a happier time when I forgot that modern day existed. But
I was
whatever.
about to ask, do they still have that modern day stuff going on?
Technically, they just rebooted it.
Oh
So-
no.
Yeah. Aside from that, I don't know. I'm not really working on anything for my second channel, and that's about it.
Right.
Volcano.
It's so confusing
What-
because
What's going
what
on?
little
Go ahead.
what little I've played of the Assassin's Creed series, it's like the modern day, quote unquote modern day, because I'm pretty sure it's kind of futuristic as well. That was always the worst, most bland, boring part of the entire game for me. And I think the reason I stopped playing Assassin's Creed Revelations was because I got to a part where it's you playing as Desmond, I want to say his name was. And I was like, nope, this is boring and nothing exciting is happening, so I'm not going to finish this game.
The game starts off with you playing as Desmond, Pink.
No, the game starts off in the tutorial thing with, what's his face?
Right.
Ezio.
Yeah, with Ezio following Altair's ghost bleeding effect thing. That's
Right.
never really explained how he saw it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. The Desmond parts where, like, the thing is, you quit at the right moment because I suffered through all of the Desmond trilogy. I mean, I miss Desmond. Don't get me wrong. I'll take the Desmond storylines over whatever the hell's going on with the series now. Like, I'll definitely play through freaking 5 more hours of Minerva talking. But the thing is, by 3, it was nothing but, okay, here's the game. Here's the historical game. And then the ending of the game is just locked behind a wall of having to go through all of the freaking cutscenes that you missed by not giving a shit about the modern day. And so when I first played through that game, when I first played through 3, I went through the whole historical story. It was just, okay, now Desmond is out. Now we need to put power back into the ICU or whatever issue temple, and I had to parkour through that, so I did. And then you press the button to put the power in, and then it's just a 15-minute long cutscene of Minerva talking about mythology, and imagine that times 4, and that was the ending.
Spectacular.
It actually wasn't Minerva; it was Juno, whatever.
Judo.
Yeah. It was the Greek goddess Judo.
Judo.
But yeah, yeah, I can see why you don't like Assassin's Creed before the modern day. I hated the modern day as well. As I've said, the only reason I grew to like it somewhat is because, well, when you compare it to what we have today, it wasn't that bad by comparison. Like, it wasn't good, but it wasn't that bad.
So, do the modern day Assassin's Creed that I don't know what I'm about to say here. Do the modern Assassin's Creeds have the modern day stuff in them?
Yes. So
That is weird.
what happened is Desmond dies in 3. Then in 4 and Rogue, you are two nameless schmucks. In Unity and Syndicate, you're literally just watching TV. And then in Origins, they brought in a new protagonist called Layla, I think. And she is now the new Desmond. And this would be all fine and dandy, but in the ending of Odyssey, Layla goes and meets up with the protagonist from the historical part of the game. And yeah, I'm not sure if you see why that's not good for the lore.
I don't understand it, but I'll agree with you.
Well,
So,
the thing is, Pink. Not talking about the gameplay aspects that they broke the lore with, like being able to choose your own path and shit like that. Just the idea of, okay, so apparently there's this relic that makes it so the historical protagonist can live to today, and then the protagonist goes and meets with them, and they get this relic.
okay, I gotcha.
But
So
it's something. Yeah.
did Odyssey have like a modern day person?
Yes, it's still Layla.
Still,
Yeah.
so that's just too weird though, because it's like you're supposed to be playing through historical archives basically, but like you said,
Yes.
it's all multiple choice now. There's no actual ending. It's what you want it to be, and that doesn't make sense for a history lesson.
Yeah, so they ruined the historical part by putting in choices, and then they ruined the modern day by, well, that, yeah, by including it, I guess.
How odd.
And there was
And
yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
like in the old games, there was always this because they released these games yearly, so the modern day actually followed the year that the game was in, and with the time that passed since the game's release, things sometimes changed. So, for example, in the end of Revelations, they leave for America, because Desmond found a precursor site there, and that's where they are located in 3. So it took them a whole year to go from wherever they have, probably Italy, to America. But they still did arrive there.
Right.
In Odyssey, it took a whole year for a helicopter that was just outside the cave to land, I think. Is what happened.
Hmm.
But yeah,
So
that's for the multi Assassin's Creed rant.
yeah. With that, I suppose we'll move on to what we did this week, because
Yeah.
we've
And the
already
meme
touched
hour.
upon the channels. So I suppose I'll go first, because that's what Alex wanted, and we are here to bow to his every whim. So this week, let's see, starting at the top, from what I can remember, I played a Kirby game. I want to say it was Kirby's Return to Dreamland. Flower Volcano might know more about that.
Um,
Were you there for that?
when we were playing it,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the one we were playing. It's a
Okay.
4-player Kirby game.
Right. And the only reason I remembered that I played that game this week was when you guys were talking about the Mega Man slide earlier before the podcast. I was like,
Yeah.
I played something that had a Mega Man slide too, and I was like, oh yeah, I played Kirby's Return to Dreamland. I was playing as King DDD, and his little down
Yeah.
jump thing. It's like a Mega Man sliding attack. I wonder why he doesn't have that in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I mean, I'm not disappointed that he has an awesome little roll thing, but
Yeah, I like the belly flop.
yeah, the belly flop is perfect.
Yes.
I was. Do you know? I don't know if you do or not, but was King DDD ever playable in any Kirby game before Return to Dreamland?
As a playable character, I don't
Yeah.
think so. No.
All right.
I
So
think
that
there was
might
like
explain.
this.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I think there was like one like 2-player game back then on like the Game Boy or something. I can't remember.
Right. Probably not the Game Boy though, because I'm pretty sure Game Boy games are just one players only.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Technically, Game Boy games had multiplayer like Four Swords and shit like that, where you have to
Right, with that
like
linking cable thing.
yeah.
There was definitely a co-op Kirby game way back in the past, so I do know that much. King DDD was not a part of it though, I don't believe, and
Yeah.
because
Oh, you continue.
all right, because Return to Dreamland didn't come out until very recently, I want to say. I mean,
It was
not
like
very recently, but
it was
pretty
like
recently.
2013 or something.
Right.
Around there.
Still very much after 2008 when Smash Brothers Brawl released, so that would explain why his down attack isn't the Mega Man slide and is instead the roll, because they wouldn't have had that history,
Right.
the precedent of his Mega Man slide that didn't exist. So
Yeah.
they would have just gone with whatever they felt like, and that's why we have the epic roll.
Right.
The goofy thing about Smash is that precedent takes priority over like series history. So like Snake was Snake's probably a bad example. Snake and Ganondorf are both kind of examples. Because Ganondorf was originally like, they just threw him in as a nice little bonus. The fact that he was a clone of Captain Falcon was just a way of getting him into the game.
Right.
But even later on, when they had the budget to redesign Ganondorf and make him fully his own character with none taken from Captain Falcon, they kept him as a Captain Falcon clone just because he'd been a Captain Falcon clone in previous games.
Right. It wasn't until the most recent Smash Ultimate where you really felt like, yeah, he's an entirely new character.
He's still got a lot of Captain Falcon's moves.
Yes.
Snake's in a similar category where they didn't want him to have guns way back in Brawl, so they gave him explosives. But then Bayonetta comes in and she's got 4 pistols. So Snake should have guns, but the thing is he's had rockets and grenades for so long, it would be weird to see him use something else.
I wonder, what if they had, like, scrapped the old grenades and rocket smashes with Brawl, and for Smash 4 they introduced an entirely different Snake? Do you think people would have liked it, or would they have lost their minds over it?
I think I wasn't a fan of Snake in Brawl. I don't think you were either.
No.
I wouldn't have cared, but Snake and Brawl had some seriously huge fans. There are some people like that pretty much played nothing but Snake in Brawl.
Right.
So I think they would have lost it. I think that's one of those cases where the legacy had to be kept.
It's a lot like with how Ubisoft is dealing with. I wish I could speak today. Dealing with Tachanka. How, yes, everybody knows he sucks. He's not viable. He's a terrible character to pick under any circumstance. But once Ubisoft changes him, people are going to lose their minds because, that's the Lord. You just changed the Lord.
Yeah.
You don't just do that.
By an entirely new Snake, do you be Liquid Snake or Naked Snake?
Naked Snake would be cool, but he'd pretty much be the same as Solid.
Right. And he also wouldn't actually be naked, so no point. No.
No, you need Raiden for that.
Yes, you do. The problem with
Why does Raiden get to be naked but not Naked Snake?
Raiden would get a costume where he has the Mexican outfit but nothing else. So he has the poncho and the hat, but nothing on aside from those.
The thing with Raiden, like, to my understanding, the reason Raiden's naked is supposed to be symbolic in Sons of Liberty. So there's your answer there.
Yeah.
It's also fitting into the classic Japan thing of naked people are funny.
Aren't they?
Yeah, kind of. They're not wrong.
I mean, if you're naked, there's a high chance that you are drunk, which also contributes to the funny aspect of it all. So, yeah.
Raiden wasn't drunk, but what was going on would make you think he was high. I mean, I remember Project M. You remember when Project M was big because people were still shitting the bed over Brawl not being melee?
Yes.
They changed Snake. They gave him his tranquilizer pistol, and he pretty much entirely changed his gameplay.
I imagine so, if you're able to tranquilize your opponent.
Yeah, now every combo Snake had would be built around the tranquilizer pistol, because it gave you free combo links. I'm happy with Snake the way he is. I didn't like him in Brawl, but I love him in Ultimate. I love most of the characters in Ultimate, really.
I'm in the same boat, but I'm having trouble adjusting to a lot of the newer characters. I mean, outside of a select few, because I did skip out on the DLC for 4. I've mentioned that previously, so playing Bayonetta is weird, as is playing with Cloud or the other ones. Except Corrin, I feel like Corrin is very simple and almost to an overpowered degree. I mean, not completely overpowered, but Corrin is in a good enough spot where I feel like anyone could play Corrin and find a way to win.
Corrin was a freak before they were a man.
I don't know what Addy's talking about, so I'm just going to pretend I didn't hear it.
We're moving on.
Corrin, like, I'm kind of resentful of Corrin just on his design.
So am I.
I love Ryu, absolutely love him. I try to make Bayonetta work, can't. Cloud was a character. I'm curious if you'll agree with this. Cloud is a character I picked up and almost immediately put down.
Yes.
Because he's a Dragon Ball character in a game full of non-Dragon Ball characters.
I've had terrible luck with Cloud, and I obviously don't like the design of Cloud or any aspect of the gameplay for him, so I tend to avoid him at all costs.
Cloud's design encourages him to be so defensive. Not even close to anything offensive. Like, always be building the meter. Always.
Right. It's like, there were times where I just sit on the edge of the stage and spam the B button. Like, people probably aren't going to break through that, and they're just going to ignore me for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, let me just sit on this corner and build my meter. Maybe get a lucky shot in here and there, but otherwise, no.
Like, a lot of the other new characters, like, I really like most of the new characters from Ultimate. Ridley and Inkling are both in spots where I don't like playing as either of them, because Ridley sucks and Inkling is too good.
Right.
So in either case, it doesn't feel good playing them. But the Belmonts are amazing, and I absolutely love Incineroar.
Yes, Incineroar is probably my favorite new character out of them all. The Belmonts, I feel, are kind of in a funny spot where they've got a lot of ranged attacks, and it doesn't quite feel wise to go in for close range attacks, but their ranged attacks also aren't as reliable as I would like them to be, so being a ranged character isn't quite viable either. So I think it's a good way to get them to be balanced between the two, but it feels like they're not particularly powerful in one way or another.
The Belmonts definitely feel very balanced. I'd say you should try and do the majority of damage with Holy Water and the axes and so on. I've gotten a couple eliminations with axes, but generally, if I need to go in and finish them off, I either do the side smash with the whip or I do the dive kick.
Well, do you know how you get kills with axes? You know why you get kills with axes?
I know where this is going.
Because axes give you strength.
I know. Volcano doesn't get that reference. She will get it soon.
Yeah, she'll get it soon.
It's always a good time when I get to play Smash.
Absolutely. That's a general rule of thumb for the world.
Yeah.
And I assume that Pink is saying that he's been playing Smash recently.
I have been playing Smash recently. That was not the original thing that brought us to this discussion. I think I
It
was
was
talking about
Kirby.
DDD.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about Kirby's Return to Dreamland, which is something I had played this week, and that led to me talking about his Mega Man slide, which led to me wondering why the Mega Man slide wasn't in wasn't in Smash. And then I quickly realized that Kirby's Return to Dreamland released later than Brawl, and Brawl was what introduced the Fighting King DDD. So the real question here is why in Kirby's Return to Dreamland, King DDD does not do a roll instead of the Mega Man roll.
Why does King DDD not do the Mega Man roll? That is not a good sentence.
So moving on from Dreamland, I played Smash, obviously. I played a little bit of Smite with Flower Volcano when I was trying to train her yesterday, I want to say.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
It went well. She got 2 whole kills. I think I already told you guys that.
Yeah.
She's already the best.
Not true.
Okay,
Can
maybe
you-
not true. She still needs to work on remembering to buy items, but aside from that, I think she's
Yeah.
got the general gist of it.
I remember
it
when
was-
I started playing, I didn't even bother with items.
Right. I was the same way. It's like you buy boots at the beginning and then you forget the entire rest of the game.
Oh, I just went with the
Yeah.
auto selection, which is probably worse.
Yeah. The recommended section is, or not even recommended, if you leave on the auto buy thing, it's like, yeah, that's not a good time. That's how I
Yeah.
played my first couple initial matches back when we started playing Smite. Like, I remember I had the weirdest items that it bought me, and I don't even remember what some of the weird combinations were. But I remember I played a lot of hunters, and a lot of the items it gave me were not good for hunters.
Who
So.
wants damage over time?
Exactly. Very interesting selections by the computer.
How about
I don't.
how about HP 5 on a mage?
I don't know. I run damage over time on Ullr with the not the beat stick, the other one. I never remember. It's in the Jotun's Red beat stick tree, but I run it on him because sometimes that's like additional 15 damage kills the person I'm shooting with the
Oh.
sniper shot.
Yeah, there's the Crusher. It does like an additional percentage of damage over time if you hit
Yeah.
an enemy with an ability.
Ullr's
Yeah,
a
that
weird.
one.
Ullr's a weird character, though, is the problem.
Right?
But yeah, that's why I love him because he's just as weird as me.
Hunter Assassin.
Yeah, Hunter Assassin.
A character built for Addy.
No, that's Merlin.
Yeah.
Merlin is a hunter assassin mage.
Oh yeah.
He's
You-
everything good and none of the support roles.
Yeah,
Ah,
give Merlin a hooded give Merlin a hooded outfit and I'll run here. Whatever. But yeah, what were we talking about? Smite.
We were talking
Right.
about Smite. So I did get a little practice in this morning as I was waiting for the podcast. I got to try out King Arthur. He's probably the most fun warrior I've ever played, which is good because obviously the warrior department is very lacking. I think we all know this. They've probably got the least amount of characters in that category.
yeah, they probably do actually. It's because it's such a weird playstyle for most people.
Right.
Because warrior is walking a fine line at times.
Right. It's like you're not quite a tank, but you're not quite an assassin, but you're not quite anything else. So you're a warrior. There you go. It's like, and then you've got all the warriors that used to be warriors but are now assassins.
Yeah.
I will never forget that one time I got a freaking quadra kill with Vamana.
Yeah. Oh, right, they did change Vamana, and Vamana was recent enough that I remember when he was a warrior. That's how recent he was. Oh, man. It's gonna be weird going back into Smite. When's the last time either of you guys played Smite? Oh, obviously, not Pink, but...
This morning.
Yeah. Last time I
But
played
it had been a great, decent while.
The last time I played Smite was probably last week or the week before.
Right, because Addy had picked it up recently. Because he had
Yeah.
mentioned it on a podcast or two ago.
Yeah, because I was like, I keep quoting Uller, so I need to not be rusty as shit with him all the time.
I like the idea
Yeah.
that you only play Smite to keep yourself up for the meme.
Yeah, like Uller is kind of like Akuma for me. If he were to appear in other games, I would play him in other games as well. Put Uller in Rainbow Six.
But how is there not a bow operator in Rainbow Six yet?
That's a good enough rate of fire.
Nah.
Yeah, that's true. Capital
But
doesn't count.
That's what
It's a
they
crossbow. It's entirely different.
That's what they will give them a machine bow.
How does a machine bow even work?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's just Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Fully automatic machine bow.
Yeah.
Hold down the trigger, and also don't forget to manually keep firing those arrows because there's no such thing as an automatic bow and arrow.
I mean, there is a way to fire a bow similar to a machine gun, and by similarly I mean with a higher fire rate than you would usually get out of a bow. But it's the way you do it is by taking like 5 arrows in your hand and just one by one quickly shooting them. So
You'd probably be better off just using one arrow with a lot of precision.
just use one arrow and no bow. Kill people with the arrow's head.
Measure twice, shoot once. There you
Yeah.
have it.
Ah, man. Nah. Oh. You know, I could just suggest that it be a sniper or character. Then I remember that Glaz is garbage in those games when he actually
Yeah.
tries to be a sniper.
When he tries to contribute as a sniper, he doesn't contribute.
All right. What were you guys talking about that led to Kirby Dreamland?
Nothing.
What I
that's
did this
Finn
week.
Okay. So I assume you played Kirby Return to Dreamland.
Yep. Dreamland, Smash, Smite, and I actually don't think I played any Rainbow Six this week. Which is a shock because I normally get at least one game in. Unless I played with you guys, which might have happened this week. I don't know. These past several weeks have just been a blur to me because I've been working all the time.
Yeah.
Not fun.
I've been writing.
This is the first. Yeah, it sucks. This is the first weekend I've had in like several months.
Ew. Ew. That makes me physically disgusted. So I assume you're going to enjoy yourself this weekend and probably play more things?
Yes.
All right. And I assume you talked more about Kirby Return to Dreamland and I just missed it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about it
Yes.
while you were away. Then you popped in, like, as we were moving on. So, there's actually one more thing I played this week, but I'll pass the baton off to Flower Volcano because she can tell you about it.
Oh, yes.
You probably played it more than I did.
I have been, and yeah, it's Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 for the Switch, and I got it yesterday. We started playing it. I was I'm not very good at it. Okay, okay. Star-Lord is so far the best because he gets his soundtracks as one of his moves and he starts dancing. That's amazing. Um, then there's the four-player mode that we were playing yesterday with the siblings. And yeah,
That the
that's
4-player
about
mode.
it.
Did you ever play the color one?
Yes, we did. You
Or
pretty much have to run
I
around.
did not. So
Yes,
sorry
yes.
for cutting you off, but explain
Oh,
how that one works.
yeah, of course. Okay, so there's four people, and you want to cover the most ground with your color, so you have to run all around it. And then you want to run to this button to like turn it so you'll get points for the amount, and it disappears and you start over. You can run on other people's color that they left behind to eliminate theirs. And I won.
Important information.
Very important.
Yes, I had to, like I ran over everybody's stuff, like their color on the floor, and then quickly pressed the button. So I had more points. I was like, yeah.
Was
Like a
this?
Lego Splatoon type thing, I suppose.
I was about to say,
Yeah, it's pretty much like that.
was this before or after Splatoon?
After, I'm gonna assume.
It's got to be after, because I feel like Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 is pretty recent, and
Yeah,
Splatoon, the original Splatoon, is pretty old at this point, I would say.
yeah, because that one Splatoon came out when the Wii U was still a thing, and then put it in yeah, then
When
they
the
put
Wii U
another
was
one on the
barely a
Switch.
thing.
Yeah, well, it still was getting games.
Kind of. For what capacity
Not
of
many.
games?
The four decent ones.
I'm curious. So when did they introduce 4-player co-op to the Lego games?
I think this is the first one.
Yeah, it's like a moderate 4-player co-op though, because the story-based
Yeah.
missions are still 2-player co-op, but there's a like battle mode thing that introduced a
Yeah.
4-player co-op for the very first time ever.
Yeah, that's.
So
I'm surprised it took them this long.
yeah, I'm really
Same
hoping this is
here.
a step in the right direction of introducing an entirely 4-player co-op story, because that has been sorely lacking from the Lego games since the very inception of them. Which, back in 2003 with Lego Star Wars, it kind of makes sense because back then I think the PlayStation 2 was only capable of even having 2 players at a time.
Multi-tap.
Right.
There was that stupid like extension cord thing that you could get to put more controllers in the PlayStation 2 or something. I don't know, because I never did it because the PlayStation 2 was dumb.
Yeah.
But did Xbox have multiple controller ports?
I doubt it.
I
No, actually, I did have non-working Xbox Classic at one point. Friggin' works, and from what I remember, it only had the 2 joystick ports on the front, and that's it.
Right. So, like, at that time, the GameCube was the only standard console you had that was capable of 4 players without needing to go out and buy another extension cord thing. Which is actually kind of crazy to me. It's like, nowadays, if the extra controller ports weren't a thing, it would make a little bit of sense, because nowadays, most consoles, there basically aren't any multiplayer games nowadays. So yeah, it would kind of make sense nowadays if a console could only have 2 controller ports at a time, or you would need to go out and get an extension cord to add more controllers. But way back then, it's like, was that just a weird transitional phase between the old school SNES and the new school, or what?
Well, Well, the thing is, like, what games that do come out nowadays that are 4-player, like, the ports are pretty much only going to be for charging. right? Because like on the
Right.
Xbox or PlayStation, the controllers just need to be charged. Well, the Xbox controllers are actually pretty terrible at holding a charge, but that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here with an charging Xbox controller in my lap.
Yeah. Mine is only ever plugged into a USB port. That way it's always able to be turned on. I used to use batteries, rechargeable batteries, because I would have a little recharge thing, like in an outlet right next to my old chair. So it's like when it gave me the notification, oh, your controller's on, I'd be like, oh, let me just pop these out, swap them out, put those on the charger, put these in the controller, and we're all good. But now it's like, no, I'm not going to use batteries. I'm just going to leave it in the computer.
Yeah, with ever since I got the Xbox, I've been using, well, ever since the included batteries died, I've been using the controller without any batteries. The thing is, now that my controller is failing at life altogether, sometimes batteries make it so it doesn't function as badly as it does.
Right.
Because like with the cable now, it doesn't recognize the cable. It recognizes that the cable is plugged in, but it doesn't send data. Or it just straight up decides that no, it doesn't gonna work.
Yeah. Not today. So anyways, back to the Lego Marvel. So I haven't been paying too much attention to the Lego games in recent years, but this new one was supposed to be like weirdly focused on... Was it, how am I forgetting his name? I could think of his name earlier. Adam Warlock. Wasn't this one supposed to be really focused on Adam Warlock?
From what I've played, not yet, but it probably is. It's so far focusing on like time traveling and like different dimensions.
Yeah, because King the Conqueror is the big baddie of this one, I recall.
Yeah. I did see that Adam Warlock is in this one, so he probably has a story arc in there. Or they might be saving it for one of the downloadable missions that you can get. As they had an Infinity War one and a couple others. They had like a Guardians of the Galaxy.
But I mean, you would probably think there's gonna be something big revolving around Adam Warlock, either in the story because it is a time travel based story,
Right.
and also the fact that Guardians 3, if that ever comes out, also going to feature Adam Warlock. So this is a decent jumping pad for him.
Yeah.
Adam Warlock's kind of like the heroic equivalent of Thanos, in that whenever he shows up in the story, it's like, oh, shit just got real. And he doesn't show up anymore, which means that shit does not get real anymore.
So he was very strangely and briefly, I want to say, on the 2012 version of the Guardians of the Galaxy, I want to say.
The 2007 version. I actually read
Yes.
I read that comic. That's the run that inspired the movies.
Yes. That came just after... Why am I blinking? Just after the Annihilation Wave, right?
Yes, and it ran through... There was kind of a trilogy event that occurred, because the Annihilation was the first in the trilogy. And then there was, I want to say, the War of Kings, where Cyclops' jackass brother came around, and he was a problem for the Inhumans.
Right.
And then there was the third event, where Thanos came back and they had to deal with the Life Universe.
Yes, the Thanos imperative.
Yes, the Cancerverse. The Cancerverse, right. So,
I just don't recall if Adam Warlock was really a big factor in any of those, though.
He wasn't. It was really weird. Adam Warlock was there for the entire time. He was there for all the events. It was never like, oh, here's this loser Adam Warlock. It's like, oh shit, it's Adam Warlock, guys.
Right?
But he was never an important part of the story until, like, there at the very end, there's like a magic thing where it's like, oh, this is really bad. Adam Warlock, you're the big tough guy here. You're gonna have to solve this. And Adam Warlock does, and then says, oh, but I had to make a deal with the devil to do it. And then his evil equivalent comes back.
Of course.
Yeah. that the Dan Abnett run on Guardians of the Galaxy was really good, but it was also very fond of that tendency to have every comic end on a big "oh no" type twist like that, you know? Because I
Yeah.
don't think anything ever came of Magus returning.
Probably not.
No,
I think we would have heard about it.
definitely
It
not
is
another
very
Infinity
weird.
War.
Yeah. Very weird that Adam Warlock, the biggest factor of the original Infinity War, was it called Infinity War?
Yes, the original Thanos storyline was Infinity Gauntlet, and then Infinity War
Yeah.
was Magus.
All right, yeah. So Adam Warlock, the biggest part of the Infinity Gauntlet, somehow basically doesn't play a role at all in all those other cosmic events we just mentioned, which is very odd. Makes me wonder why you would use the character at all.
Almost exclusively just because he has the legacy. So you can be
Right.
like, hey guys, remember Adam Warlock from Infinity Gauntlet?
Remember when Adam Warlock saved the day?
He won't be doing that today, but he's here. It's always good to see more of them. With that said, was Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 not one? Wasn't it one of the games that was part of that whole era of we're gonna pretend the X-Men and Fantastic Four don't exist?
I think so, because I was asking about that the other day when I was watching them play. I was like, "What? Did this come before or after the Fox merger?" Because I hadn't
Yeah,
seen any
it's-
Fox characters, but I thought maybe it was recent enough that they got put in, or maybe they'd be upcoming DLC, kind of like how Spider-Man randomly appeared in the Lego Avengers game once they got their little deal done with Sony.
Right.
But I'm thinking right now, unless Volcano has seen something that I haven't, I'm thinking right now this was
No.
pre-merger, so there are no X-Men, no Fantastic Four, despite King being
Yeah.
there.
Right.
Ooh,
It's like, oh, okay.
yeah, Kang and Ego without the Fantastic Four, huh? What's next, Juggernaut? I'd imagine without the Fantastic Four and X-Men there, they'd spend a lot more time focusing on the new kids.
Yeah,
They
I'm pretty
really
sure they
have.
do, because in their first initial missions that they were playing, I think one of the teams consisted entirely of like the newer teenage heroes like Miss Marvel, Spider-Man, what's her face, White Tiger,
Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen.
Her too. Yeah.
You know, Spider-Gwen's always treated as being like one of the teenage heroes. Like, mentally, I'll always just think of her as the timeline where Gwen was Spider-Woman instead of Peter. So I imagine her being the same age as Peter. Am I alone in that?
No, Spider-Gwen is weird because to me she's not actually Gwen Stacy because so much of her is different. Like, first of all, she's obviously a high schooler, whereas original Gwen Stacy, obviously a college student.
And
So
at,
that's a pretty decent age gap.
and at this point,
Spider-
damn near 30 years in age. Because she's the same age. Well, Gwen was the same age as Peter, and now Peter's nearly 30.
Right.
The other big difference between the two is that Spider-Gwen is alive.
Yeah, that's true.
That's double true. I mean, original Gwen is pretty much dead. At least last I checked. I don't think they've retconned that, and they probably won't.
What about the
I-
Norman thing?
I hope that I hope
Nobody mentions that for good reason.
I know nobody mentions it, but it happened. It did
I hope
happen.
that
Did it? Did
I
it
hope
really
that-
happen?
But
I think
It might-
only a
it might
select
not-
few.
it might not have happened actually upon thinking, because they never brought back the Osborn Stacy twins.
No. They've
I just
literally no other comic creator ever has mentioned, brought up, or reused the Grey Goblin or the other chick or any of that nonsense involving that.
I entirely forgot about the Grey Goblin. Oh, that's bad. Ooh.
I'm just hoping that there's a Twitter account like there is for Test. That's just is Gwen Stacy dead, and then it's just yes.
Is that the equivalent of is DMX in jail?
Yeah, I mean, have you not seen his test?
Wait, but didn't DMX just recently
did.
get out?
Yep.
No. Did he?
Yeah, he did. He just got out of jail about a month ago.
Ah.
It was tax evasion or something. Not a
No, it's
badass
not. It's
gangster.
DMX is still in jail.
Badass gangster rapper goes to jail for tax evasion. It's real intimidating, DMX. You go ahead and sing rap songs about that.
X did not give it to them.
X withheld many things.
Like I just want this to be a thing with Gwen Stacy.
It's just, damn it. All right, well.
What is the most recent post on Is Test Still Dead?
I think it might be March of 2018 or April, where he wrote, "No, he has risen."
And that's the last one.
Yeah, that's the last one.
Test is alright. Newsflash, guys. Test is alive now. And he's very happy doing whatever it is he's doing nowadays. And that's why he just hasn't updated his Twitter in a while.
What's up with Test? Why does everybody love him? I never got it.
I don't know. People say that he had a good big boot.
He did have a good big boot. I quite enjoyed it. I was a big fan of Test. Granted, he was also before my time. He passed away in like 2007. I wasn't even watching wrestling in 2007. I was like 10 in 2007. I don't know. But he had a... Let me look at Test real quick. His Twitter here. He was tall. He had a good look. He was athletic. If he had come along nowadays, he would be a world champion. But he came along in an era where everyone was world champion material. So, come on, you had The Rock and Stone Cold on top. There was no way Test was going to break out.
Was Test not around in the early Ruthless Aggression days? I guess he was.
I want to say his tenure was at least from 98 to 2004. Then he came back in like 2006 for ECW.
I don't know. 2003 was pretty vacant. He probably, if he were really world champion material, I think he could have picked it up in 2003 or 2004. Considering everybody we had at the top in that time period was Triple H, Booker, Goldberg, and no one else.
I feel like Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar were still dominating SmackDown at that time, though.
You know what? I forgot both of those guys existed.
I tend to do the same as well, but what are you gonna do?
Kurt entirely slips my mind. He doesn't fit into the wrestling paradigm for me.
Right, because Kurt is such a weird one because he had a very short tenure, but he also accomplished a lot in that tenure.
And now he's back.
It's like he's not a full-time wrestler anymore, but he's still back on television, and it's still strange to grasp. Granted, I'm not able to watch it anymore, but Kurt Angle, Raw GM.
I look at modern day WWE, and I look at it, and it's like, okay, so who's in the WWE right now? Kurt Angle, Jeff Hardy, Cassius Owens,
2003,
Chris Hero, huh?
Chris.
These are all guys I would never have expected to come back. I never expected AJ Styles to ever go to the WWE in the first place. I expected he'd be like Sting and just stay out until he was on his deathbed. You know? A reverse Taker, if you will.
Yeah. Like, I don't think anyone really ever saw him leaving Japan. It's like, it was weird enough when he left TNA because he was the face of TNA for so very long. It's like, yeah, he's in Japan now, but he's probably going back to TNA. There's no way he goes to WWE. And now here we are. AJ Styles, multiple-time WWE World Champion. Cover star for 2K19.
Is it not weird that Styles stuck with TNA for so long?
It is very weird that he stuck with TNA for so long.
Because, I mean, didn't TNA disrespect him all the time?
Yes.
Wasn't he like the Bret Hart for them, wherein, like,
he broke
his back for the company, and the company regularly tried to screw him over in the favor of people they saw as more marketable?
I was literally going to make that exact same point.
Yeah.
Like, on the other hand, why are we surprised that he didn't stay in TNA for so long?
It's an abusive relationship. He just thinks it's going to get better, but it only gets worse. Until eventually it got so
It was
bad.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah. It eventually got so bad TNA just scared everyone else off. So now TNA is just lonely and stays drinking in the bar late at night. It stumbles home to its Orlando shack behind some theme park. He's scaring the locals.
He's yelling something about GFW Gold, but nobody knows what he's talking about.
GFW Gold.
The neighbors are like, I'm telling you, Miles, that TNA guy's he's trouble. He's gonna be one of these days we're just gonna hear a gunshot. Don't know who's gonna be getting shot, but we're gonna be hearing something.
Is it suicide or murder?
Yes.
No, Suicide has been renamed Manic. Refer to him by that name.
Ah, okay. It was a death by
I was about to
manic.
say Suicide went to WWE, but TJP just requested and was granted his release like yesterday, so Suicide no longer in WWE.
Oh, I guess that's one guy that never went. That's one guy who never went to WWE. Caval never went to WWE, did he?
Who?
The guy that was behind the Suicide Mask for a while. No, wait, that's not Caval, is it? Was Caval?
No, Caval was actually in WWE for a brief period in 2010.
Wait, was he the little guy that won the NXT competition?
Yes.
Okay, not the guy I'm talking about then. Oh, who am I thinking of? Who am I thinking?
Christopher Daniels also played Suicide.
Christopher Daniels. I'm thinking of Christopher Daniels. Who is Christopher Daniels' tag team partner?
Frankie Kazarian?
Kazarian.
Machine Gun Kelly.
I can.
Machine...
Okay, I was thinking of Christopher Daniels, but I was imagining him with Kazarian's face and Caval's name, which says a lot about my knowledge of TNA. Oh, that show was awful.
Daniels and Caval, I can see getting mixed up because they're both bald guys of relatively small stature.
But one's
Kazarian?
talented and one isn't.
Yeah. Kazarian is just a little out there, but I can still understand the confusion.
Wasn't Christopher Daniels in one of the Saints Row games?
I don't know.
I think he was a radio host in Saints Row 4.
It's certainly possible.
Because no
I
one
don't-
paid attention to the radio in those games.
Yeah, Rob Van Dam was a radio host as well in one of those games.
No, he wasn't a radio host. He was a TV show host.
TV show. Does it matter?
And
Same
then, and then Hulk Hogan was one of the characters.
A luchador, of all things.
Yeah.
Hogan wishes he could move like a luchador.
Yeah, I was about
Well,
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 or
look-
he'd get Kevin Nash to start screaming about vanilla midgets.
look here, brother. That luchador, whatever his name was, Angel de la Muerte or whatever.
I
That
could have been a
luchador.
luchador. I could have been a luchador, but AWA made me turn 84 and, all that.
That luchador picked up Andre the Giant and threw him on the ground in front of all of Japan.
While he was playing the guitar for Metallica.
Yes,
One in each hand.
he has 6 hands.
Welcome everybody to the new Smite character, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
That needs to be official.
We have been stuck on what Pink has done for the past week for so long.
I don't know which would I don't know if it would
The
be
entire second hour of the podcast has been what Pink's done in the last week.
yeah. I don't know how insulting it would be for Hindu people to say that Hulk Hogan would be a Hindu god or not.
Look, it's already a political problem in there. Well, let's just leave it as it is.
Yeah.
We'll make Hulk Hogan an American god.
Yeah. He'll be the only.
His
he'll
little
be the only-
pantheon flag is just the American flag.
Yeah.
No, yeah. But there will only be two characters. One of them is Hulk Hogan. The other one is George Washington, dressed in green.
Hey, you could keep going. Let's throw a couple more on there. Let's throw on
Are we-
Dr. King. Dr. King's a support character. He literally can't attack. He's all support.
You also get Ramerica as a separate character.
Raw America, yeah. He's an echo character. He gets slightly different properties to his moves now.
Yeah.
Who? Ben Franklin.
Guy Fieri.
Guy Fieri.
Oh no!
His moves all cover you in sauce, and his ultimate is that he eats you.
No, Guy Fieri is a fire-based guardian character.
He builds up a fire meter for every player he eats.
Yeah.
It's like Wario's fart mechanic in Smash, which is a weird thing to say out loud. Where
Oh.
the more he lets it build up, the stronger it gets.
And then for a healer, we'll get freaking Simon Cowell.
He's British.
I know.
Okay, shut up. John Henry actually would be awesome. Give me a guy dual wielding hammers, and that's all he does. And
Oh yeah.
he hammers you into the ground, and then you get run over by a train.
Perfect.
All right.
Now we have to invest into making another game in addition to our President Fighter game.
Yeah.
We have
No,
to make a Smite type game
No,
based on historical figures.
These are the bonus hidden characters right here.
Yeah.
If you complete
By the
the
way,
campaign with all presidents, you unlock John Henry, Dr. King, and Hulk Hogan.
Guy Fieri.
And Guy Fieri. The honorary presidents of the United States of America.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Guy Fieri will forever be remembered on the great Hokage faces.
You know what? That would actually... Imagine if when you beat the game, it's just that your president gets their face added as the fifth face on Mount
Rushmore.
No, and if you're playing
but
as George Washington or any of the ones that are actually already on there, they get added on there twice.
Just knock down another face.
And Mount Rushmore is the only way to check your progress. So it doesn't get reset with every fifth. It just gets added to be longer.
Half the United States is a sculpture of multiple presidents' faces. We're working on that president fighter idea. It's just going to keep building, man.
It's gonna be great. People are gonna love it.
All right, Pink, is that about all you done this past week?
Absolutely. 'Cause I refuse to take up any more time.
And I believe we're trying to link over to Volcano. So Volcano, were there any notable points about Lego Marvel Superheroes 2?
I just like the whole thing as a whole altogether. It's just fun to play. It's simple, just a little bit mindless in a way, except when we have no idea how to use the controls, because I was playing the one for the Wii U back before I got the other one. So then I'm like, what am I doing?
Part of the whole thing with the Lego games, I want to just pose this question to you. Part of the whole thing with the Lego games is collecting the various characters from these settings. Like, what would you say, what's probably the biggest reach for, like, obscure Marvel character in this game that you've seen so far?
Oh, well, they will have multiple characters from different, they're like the same character but from a different dimension, but then other characters don't have that. And I feel like some of them, they really stretch it. Like, we have this Iron Man 2020, but we don't have anyone else from there. And it's a little confusing. It's like, oh, what are you doing?
I've never heard of Iron Man 2020. Is it?
That's what I was like. What? I don't even, I know the 2099 era over there, And then they had the Nor universe, and I know those, but then they'll like just randomly throw somebody at you, and I'm like, what? I've never even heard of this person.
I honestly don't recall where Iron Man 2020 originates. I'm pretty sure he was supposed to be a villain, though. And that
Oh.
I think it has been retconned, and I think at one point or another he was on that. There's a team of like interdimensional, or not interdimensional, but multiversal heroes that's led by Blink. I want to say
The
Marvel
Exiles.
Zombies.
Exiles. Yes, I believe for a brief moment in time he was a part of the Exiles, and outside of that, I literally cannot recall anything Iron Man 2020 has done.
Was he?
See.
Was he part of that storyline where it turned out Tony was adopted and that there was a real Tony, and that Tony was a fake Tony?
Oh my gosh, I
I-
forgot about that.
I don't think so, but it could be, possibly.
Iron Man storylines are so confusing. No one really pays
Yeah.
attention to Tony's solo storylines past the part where Rhodey became Iron Man. Past Demon in a Bottle, really, and that's for a reason. Yeah.
If the Marvel Universe would have stuck to a like chronological timeline, it's like in an alternate universe, I can pretty clearly see that Tony Stark would have retired after Demon in a Bottle, and Rhodey would have become the sole Iron Man, which would have been pretty cool. But because Marvel Comics work in a way where you can't really keep a chronology going, you can't make anyone age for the most part because they're franchises that you cannot kill off. You basically have to retread the same waters with them over and over again because they're comics and comics sell and they have to keep selling.
Well, sometimes it moves forward and sometimes it doesn't. So
Right.
Because Spider-Man gets older. Spider-Man's,
Right.
like we said, he's nearly 30, and he started out at 15. But then they're like, sometimes they find excuses, like Magneto. How many times has Magneto been unaged, right?
So very many.
Because there was
But
one time
at this point, I'm not even sure if it was possible for him to have survived World War II at all. You'd have to be like so very old.
There are still some veterans around, and nowadays they
There absolutely are, but they're in the 90s.
Right, but there's still we still operate under the assumption that Magneto would have been a teenager, like a young teenager, maybe 14 or 15.
Right.
The thing, didn't they did straight up at one point give him like a serum that made him go down 20 years. Which probably would have been around the time he was nailing Wasp.
Makes sense.
Yeah, well, that's two people that, the puzzle pieces fit together. And hell, wasn't he turned into a baby at one point?
Yeah, absolutely.
That was the end of the original Kirby Lee run on X-Men, wasn't it? Him getting turned into a baby. Because then he was brought back shortly before Dark Phoenix. Because it turned out he was an adult again and held in one of the cells that belonged to Moira, right? On her island? It's always fun going deep into the annals of X-Men history. Where me and Pink have to sit there for a minute, like, trying to root all this stuff out. We're playing like mental arrangement around. Like, did this happen before this, or after this, or so and so and so? I'm almost 100% sure. He got turned into a baby at the end of the Kirby Lee run and came back as an adult during the Claremont run in one of Moira's prison cells. And as everybody stopped hearing me.
Nope.
Okay. I think Pink may have just dropped out. Yep.
Oh no.
Okay,
All
I was
right.
wondering what was up on Pink's end there. I was talking about Baby Magneto for like half a minute there.
Yeah, Baby Magneto's the last thing I heard. I tried to answer your question, and then I realized I got cut out.
Right. Saying Baby Magneto makes it sound like a Baby Watchman type thing. Yeah, Baby Watchman. That's also got to go up there as one of the best Simpsons gags. Just to go back to the Lego Marvel superheroes thing. You mentioned the Noir universe. Is there anyone they could even pull from the Noir universe other than Spider-Man and Punisher?
They did Daredevil and Elektra. They had them in there. And that was about it. That's why I
I
was like,
didn't
they
know there
won't
was a
have it.
noir Electra.
I didn't either.
I didn't until the game. I knew they had a Daredevil Noir comic, but I never read it.
I don't think any of us here touched the Noir comic. Addie, did you read the Noir Spider-Man comic at some point?
No, but I wish I would have. I like that costume.
I was about to say, that seems up your alley. It's Spider-Man with a gun. And he's edgier.
It was an interesting comic.
Yeah. Who else loves the part where Vulture brutally murdered and ate Uncle Ben? Yeah.
No.
Wait, who ate Uncle Ben?
Vulture.
Peter Parker. depends on which. Depends on
Gosh
which
darn it,
costume.
Peter. This is the second time we've had to tell you, don't eat your uncles.
Oh wait,
He's
no,
a
no,
spider.
no.
He can't help it.
Actually, I'm incorrect because he did not eat Uncle Ben. He ate Uncle May.
Uncle.
Uncle May.
That's the gender-inverted universe.
Yeah.
Spider-Woman and her Uncle May. Uncle May's funny. Aunt Ben is funnier. Nah.
Oh shit. But yeah, so he ate Aunt May and Mary Jane, I believe, in the zombie one.
Yeah. Yep.
I told you not to talk about the zombie verse. Gosh darn it.
Well, that's not the most infuriating thing to come out of the zombie verse. I bet the one thing I can definitely say that will piss Pink off about the zombie universe. Remember when Black Panther beat Zombie Giant Man despite missing both arms and one leg? And I can feel Pink seething with rage somewhere off wherever you guys are. Oh, well, bye, Pink.
He just laughed. You made him leave.
It's what I do.
Yeah. W pisses Pink off. I piss W off. That's
We gotta
Let's
get
look it
Pink
up.
to start pissing you off, so it's mutual all around.
yeah.
It's
Well,
rock.
he came back.
It's rock paper
Why
scissors
does-
of anger.
Why does my Discord hate me?
It saved you from the information I was going to expose you to, Pink.
Okay, maybe Discord loves me. I don't know.
Alright. You played anything else other than Lego Marvel Superheroes 2? Volcano.
I also played Kirby. That was also the reason we were playing it. And Super Smash Brothers. And I don't think I've played anything other than that because I've just been drawing.
Are you... You know, I'm not going to ask that question because it's stupid. So I'm going to ask it... Wait, what? You know, I don't think we ever elaborate on the... I'm having a conniption. Someone else take this away.
I don't know what you're leading to.
I'm not sure if
know
that-
either.
I'm not sure if W is cutting out or if his brain is cutting out.
It's my brain. It's my brain. It's me this time. I'm having a mad genius moment. The numbers are flying in front of my face. The algebra equations.
Oh.
All right. Well then, I guess I'll take the wheel. So W, get ready.
Oh, here we go. Is it
Meme
Addie's
hour.
memeing hour? It's memeing hour.
Yeah, meme hour.
Okay.
So I tried to post these from worst to best, but I don't know which one's the worst.
Oh no, I went too
They're
quickly. I'll delete it.
Whatever. No, don't. It's fine.
What is that?
It's a breach minion. This guy is in the ram, but the ram is not there for some reason.
Oh.
So he's gonna knock down the door?
Yeah.
He is a weapon to suppress Metal Gear.
There was also this, just to piss you off.
Oh, I
Oh,
needed a
shit,
timestamp.
I forgot. Shit, I forgot.
All right, delete it. I'll put down a timestamp, and then we'll just pretend it had a timestamp.
All right.
I'm glad
So there it
Volcano
is.
gets to see what of a train wreck we are in action.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Wow.
I'm just okay.
All right. Here's the last for another one. Put a timestamp.
You've been spending a lot of time on the For Honor subreddits, haven't you, Addy?
Yeah, it's the most active subreddit I follow.
God damn it! That's the
Did you read the
worst,
text?
Addy. That should have gone first. That's the worst.
All right, so the next one is from Shitpostbot.
Was the glory of Rome really forever?
Arguably.
According to Benito Mussolini, it was, but I don't think you can ask him for.
I think it's debatable.
Yeah, you can go and ask
Also-
Mussolini's corpse wherever it is,
Also,
hung
since
by his own
that-
people.
since last week we posted those, or I posted those cats that looked like us, I was like, I'm gonna find an animal that represents me well. So I found one. Put a timestamp.
Knuckles the Echidna.
No,
Gosh darn it.
I don't have 4 penises yet.
Yet.
My God, this is just going poorly in every possible regard.
So I
What
feel
did you
that-
expect on the meme hour? What is that?
That's an owl. That very well represents me, in my opinion.
You have tiny eyes and a massive face.
Yeah, and I'm done with this shit. Put another timestamp.
It's
This
silent
one's from
judgment.
Yeah. Put another timestamp. Here comes Shitpostbot.
He pierces into your soul.
Here comes Shitpostbot. Oh my God.
So I read that wrong. I was started at the top and worked to the right and then went down. So I read there's a pretty and there's a. I'm like, what? That makes no sense.
Don't dead
Is
open.
that
inside-
Inspector Gadget?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
His face zoomed in to make it.
All right, now we go into anime territory. We're gonna start from Doki Doki Dominic Club.
Oh my God. Oh
So
my-
these aren't actual memes. These are screen caps from from animes that I've watched in the past half a year. So here's one.
Oh my God. Okay, that's reasonable. Context is necessary, but context, that seems like it could be justified by context.
All right,
Right.
put another one up. This one is from Waku and Basara.
The-
I'm actually gonna name them the anime because you'll understand at least, W.
I don't think I will. I'm gonna be honest. This is the part of the podcast where all the quality goes away.
Yeah. Right. So now that we're done with these, now we go into personal territory. So here are things that I made or found. Well, found whatever. You get what I'm trying to say. Put another one up. This might be hard to read because it's a really small image.
This better not be a copy pasta.
It's not. So this is for my Earthbound game.
What is that little?
Okay.
What is the little thing next to fisting?
Alpha.
But it's just an A,
Oh.
so it looks like it's saying something else.
So that is how the Earthbound game went.
I see.
And then this one I actually made, put on a timestamp. So this image I made for a Call of Duty trailer because I wanted to review Modern Warfare, whichever one. I wanted to make the most American image that I could, and this is what I came up with.
You know, it looks like it's vomiting an entire whole burger.
Who's to say it isn't?
As great as that image is, it needs the American flag somewhere on it.
In the background.
That's true. Yeah, in
Yeah.
the background.
Yes.
Just grab a picture of a flag and put that on it.
Right. That's a PNG
Yes.
image, right? So just
Yes, it is. You can
yeah,
just do
just
Oh,
paste
perfect.
the eagle.
Eagle.
Oh, the good old American
What kind of American am I?
it. Just Space Captain Falcon for eating hamburgers.
Yeah.
And then this last one, this one ties into my name, my Discord name. So post the timestamp.
This is gonna be an Always Sunny, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm willing to accept that.
If you check closer to the face, it's actually the base Addy image.
I noticed because I clicked on it.
Who is that in the audience?
I don't know.
It's Santa
just-
Claus.
It is.
Now we know what he does in all his free time.
He watches Addy wrestle people.
Yeah.
Addy and Santa Claus are going to be a tag team. Addy will put one wrestler in his garbage can. Santa will put the other wrestler in his sack, and they roll him out of the ring.
Oh right. Here's another thing that I forgot. Post timestamp.
My God, the editing time on this one's going to take forever.
This is
Addy
just
put in
one,
work.
This is 1/10 of what I have to do with each time every episode.
Yeah.
I just wanted to put in to appreciate Horada.
Did you see the most recent Negan trailer, Addy?
No. Oh yeah. I have.
Did you
Yeah.
catch that bit?
Yeah. Don't ask me for shit.
Yep. They got Jeffrey Dean Morgan to come into the studio to record that line specifically. And I want Negan to just say that at the end of every round. Negan's gone from the stupidest thing in Tekken 7 to the best already.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it for Meme Hour. That's all I could amass in a week.
In a whole week.
So other than gathering memes... By the way, Frank the Trash Man is totally going to be our thumbnail here. But
All right.
base Trash Man.
I also yeah, I also made a real effort to make it so I don't have any hair in that picture. You know, aside from the side little things that
Right.
he has.
The DeVitos.
Yeah, the DeVitos. So yeah, my mom actually saw that picture without the flashing eye effect, and she told me that it was better that way, but I was too lazy to remake it, so you're left with this one.
There's something more amusing
You can
about the
see
fact that
it better without the flash effect, but the flash effect is what gives it the intensity that it needs.
there's something
Yeah.
amusing about the idea that Addy's eyes are flashbangs at all times.
Yeah, no, that's my base power. My goldeness shows through my eyes. Some shit I don't know.
They flashbanged you so many times in Siege that you developed
You've evolved. You
Yeah,
have become the flashbang.
my eyes soak up the light and repel it.
You're Dazzler, basically. It almost inverse though. Well, not inverse, unless you're also making the flashbang noise. In which case, yeah. So I assume at some point you played a video game.
Yes. I played a bit of Trials Rising the Open. It's Trials.
And
loot boxes, but that's from the
Oof.
that's from way back in the closed beta, so I knew those already.
Loot boxes everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty soon they won't be. Because apparently Europe's just going to be like, nah.
Right, and then they won't be viable anymore. As much money as the Americans might be able to throw at them, it's like kind of nice to have that global market.
Yeah.
Yeah, so aside from that, I played a bit of For Honor today against actual people for a
Oh,
change. Yeah, I think the game took pity on me because it put me against people who didn't know how to parry. I was Vortiger. Yeah. Like it's unfair to say that they didn't know how to parry, but their team comp there was an Orochi who always went for team fights, and by always went for team fights, I mean they always put in cheap shots and then ran away, even when they outnumbered you.
so they were an Orochi?
Yeah, I made it my mission to make that guy quit. I made him quit.
That's fair. That's fair.
So aside from him, they had a pretty alright Warden player, and by pretty alright, I mean he actually knew how to parry and use the shield bash to the maximum.
Oh, Shoulder Bash City, huh?
Yeah. And aside from that, I forget. Oh, there was another pair that was in a different game. I'm pretty sure those were in a pre-made. Because there was a team of a shaman and a warden raider that would do nothing but guard break you, bleed you, and then do the freaking carry guard break thing. And that's all they did.
That's a weird combo. I don't see how the bleed would help much. Unless he's carrying you to set up the tackle.
Yeah, that was mostly how they used it.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
So yeah, that was an annoying fight.
I can imagine.
Yeah, how we beat them is by separating them and then doing the same to them. So you can imagine how fun it was. Did you fall again?
No.
Okay, good. but yeah, what we did was, since I was Vortiger, I pancake flipped them into, I believe we had a Jiangxi freaking yeah, we had a Chinese zombie.
Sure.
We had a Zhang Jun, and we just basically unblockable into each other's unblockables until they died. That was fun. Bullying them wasn't fun. The part where we did the same to them was fun.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Especially in a game like For Honor.
Yeah, I keep yelling at you about, or I kept yelling at you about. For Honor is a game where no error needs to be presented aside from emoting.
Well, I'm not the one who tries to 1v1 anymore. That's more so Pink's thing. I'm willing to participate in team fights. Now my thing that you complain about for me is Raider. It's a self-imposed challenge, man. I also just love him.
The thing with Raider is that even if you're really good with him, you're only mediocre in the long run. Because
I don't agree. I think he's a little predictable in a lot of categories, but the hilt stun is really good.
People at level 2 bot level is the best way I can describe it. People at that level will I want to say like 5 out of 10 times dodge it. And aside from that, all you have is a carry, and unless you can build into ganks, unless you can just carry people to your other teammates, people usually say that Raider is not really in a good place, which is why he's getting a rework actually in the near future.
I mean, the hilt stun, and what really makes it good is just the fact that nearly every move in Raider's arsenal cancels into it. Which is the same thing with his unblockable, now that we're talking, since we are always bring that up. Though his unblockable is so incredibly telegraphed that it's almost impossible not to parry it.
Sometimes that actually makes it unparryable.
Really?
Believe it or not. Yeah, it was the same with Shigoki as well, because the thing is, people always feint it, so when you let it fly, people don't know when to parry it.
Huh.
So that's why it's a mix-up, because, if you let it fly in a combo sometimes, people who have all of their parry timings done will definitely parry it, yes. But if there are people like me, for example, who have varying parry timings, depending on freaking the state of the stars or some shit, those people will let it slide. Not because they want to, but because they literally don't know when to press parry.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I do feel like getting back into For Honor. Definitely.
Yeah, it would be fun. Especially now that I have a somewhat viable main that will definitely get nerfed, and he will probably hopefully he'll get nerfed in only in places that I don't use. Because the only parts of him that are OP are parts that I don't use. So
Yeah.
because there's yeah.
Light spam, right? That's usually what it is, isn't it?
Well, for him it's not light spam. For him it's light bash light spam, which is different in that you have to put the bash in the middle, and because the thing is his light is actually pretty slow, so you need to be precise in hitting it. But then there's the follow-up bash that you can do. Well, I think only 2 characters can punish right now, and that's not good. So Yubi should be looking at that bash. They also nerfed the neutral bash, which is good. And other than those, I feel like when people say that he does do much damage, and with the bash thing, I guess I agree, because he does 40 damage for each light bash he does, or light bash light. I don't freaking remember. Whatever. The point is, if they made it so, I don't know, his normal attacks were a bit faster, and his bashes were a lot worse, then I feel like he'd be in the perfect spot. But right now, people who are saying that the bash is overpowered are not lying, even as someone who plays him. Because like the only people so far who've been able to dodge my bash are the bots.
I think a lot of people just forget the dodge button exists a lot of the time. Unless it's an unblockable. Because unblockables are usually so telegraphed that it gives you time to think.
I
Yeah.
will say that I always forget that I have a dodge button.
Yeah, I usually do. I do unless I'm Kinsei. Unless I'm Kinsei. Because that dodge heavy on Kinsei is incredible.
I guess playing Aramusha just made me aware of everything, of using everything possible, because Aramusha has nothing. So with Aramusha, you need to use spacing. With Aramusha, you need to use timing. With Aramusha, you need to use your teammates, because otherwise you're not getting a bloody hit in. And it's like, okay, so for this 1 millisecond, he looked at the other guy, so I can now jump in and hit him with the forward dodge heavy. And then maybe I can combo off of that, because light might be guaranteed if they block in the other direction. Because that's how Aramusha works. Like, since I since I started playing Black Prior, I started playing Aramusha differently as well. Because now instead of going for the whole unblockable, chain, the infinite, instead I just do short bursts, and people don't know why, but it's to save stamina for when I can actually open them up. Which, by the way, not a lot of times. But yeah, Black Prior, pretty freaking good still. Hopefully the bash will get sorted out so people can just spam it.
The character made from you continues to be made for you.
Yeah.
As long as he has the pancake flip, you're probably going to be happy with him, aren't you?
Yeah, as long as the pancake flip is good, I'm gonna be happy with him.
How could they make it bad?
Shorter timing window, less damage, a longer guard break thing, because you can already guard break it in any point when I'm not flipping someone.
Okay, what if they made the timing... Okay. What if they made the timing window wider but lowered the damage?
I don't know how that would work since it's already supposed to be on parry timing. So to make it an even bigger timing window would make it well, basically I think it would make it like a Ramusha's Titan stance thing.
So it almost just become, if you're in bulwark stance, they get pancake flipped.
Yeah. The thing with bulwark stance as well, by the way, is that against people you cannot use it. And I don't mean it literally. You can use it if you can use it from a snap way. So you know, if you can do it so there's no actual startup to the bulwark, or there's a minimal amount of startup to the bulwark, and then you do a pancake flip or the unblockable. But if you can't do that, then you probably don't want to use it against people, because people, even if you just let it sit for like a second, people will guard break you. For example, today, as I played against actual people, let me reiterate my point. I did nothing but get guard broken.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. That's the thing I've always run into when playing against people is, I think all three of us kind of need to practice on our counter guard breaking, and it's such a weird thing to practice.
The problem with the counter guard breaking for me is not that I can't do it. Well, that as well, because I became rusty, yeah, but not just that. The other problem is that if I go into bulwark for even a second, I cannot counter guard break.
Oh,
So,
right.
so if I plan on going into bulwark and you predicted that and you guard broke me, I can't do anything.
Yeah. All right. We've been talking about For Honor for a little bit. Is there anything else you played this past week, Addy?
I don't believe I did. Yeah, no, I don't think I did. I've just been really, I just had to put a lot of time into editing or videos, and not really editing, is the getting the streams together to form one video.
Right.
Yeah. I don't get why it does. It's so annoying that it does that. It really is.
Yeah.
You know, my computer gets left running a lot of times. I wonder if I could just record them on my end. And then it'd be fine, do you think? No,
Yeah.
just send those to...
That could work.
Yeah, I can start doing that. I'll start doing those for mine.
All right.
Anyways, I believe that just leaves me, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. I, for once, did not play Resident Evil 2 this week because I...
What?
Yeah. I'm in
Stop the podcast. Something's wrong.
Yeah, I'll stop the podcast to go play Resident Evil 2, and then we'll go
All
back
right.
on after I play for a
Right.
little. So,
All right.
Let me ban Alex from the channel.
okay. Don't worry, I can ban me. No, I can't actually.
No, I can server mute you, server defer you, kick you, ban you, because I am the guardian of memes. Only I can rule with this power.
So, anyways, I spent most of this week working on a speech about Hungary for my college class with Addie's help. And it was considerably less of a train wreck than my last speech. I'd say it actually went pretty well. And
Very nice.
there was a great sense of achievement, but though it was lessened by the fact that I'm going to have to make another speech of even longer length, or well, even more sources, excuse me, this week. It doesn't really matter how good the speech I make is. At the end of the day, I'm in college, so most of these classes are actually just classes on finding good sources. Most of these are classes on do research, idiot. Ow!
Smacking that thing gave your point good emphasis, though.
Yeah. I do wonder though, since I applied for college a college class that it focuses on actually doing the thing that I'm supposed to do at work. I wonder how that will go.
I don't know how the college classes will work in Hungary. You might still have to take the general education classes, and the general education classes are going to be the ones that are all, do research. Here's how to find good sources. Here's how to give a speech. You gotta do all this busy work to prove that you understand biology.
From what from what I gathered,
I'm going to be a fucking history teacher. Why do I need to understand evolution? I guess it's a way of, like, trying to deal with political problems and all that, but if it's really necessary knowledge, we should have been teaching it in high school.
I'm not sure.
But we
I'm
do
not
teach
sure
it in
how
high
it is.
school, so why am I learning it again?
I was about to say just exactly that.
I'm not sure how it is in America, but over here, as our history teacher told us this, that you're actually by law prohibited from speaking about current politics.
As a teacher?
Yeah, you can't talk about current politics at all. You can't even name people.
I don't think in the United States, I don't think it's by law, but it is definitely a thing of if you mouth off about politics, you will get fired. But that's for any job position. It's part of why people have to be spooked about their social media nowadays, is because they go on and mouth off about, I don't know who knows what, I don't know who, the president or something, then they could just cut themselves out of a job. That's just kind of how it is nowadays. Though I think it's always kind of been like that for teachers.
I'd imagine so.
I mean, they're government employees, so they kind of have to listen regardless of who's in charge, because it's their job. Yeah.
But yeah, as for the class thing, it's said that I'll need to learn like freaking movie making history and movie arts history or something like that. So I'm gonna assume that there's gonna be lots of research with that, but that's still just history.
That's probably going to be the fun kind of research. The research about stuff you actually care about.
Yeah, like how they invented movies because people were like, I don't want to pay actors to act everywhere.
I'm curious. Like, this is kind of a political thing, I guess, but I'd be curious whether they'd take an ethnocentric view, and like the class would mostly be about like Hungarian film. Or if they would talk a lot about, like, film's origins in other areas of the globe.
Knowing Hungary, it's probably gonna be mostly about Hungarian film, which will mean that I will hate it.
Well, I mean, you'll get to learn about Michael Curtis, maybe. Oh, no, wait, he left for the United States. Probably not. So, I can't think of any other big movie makers that came out of Hungary, other than the guy that you mentioned that was politically suspicious and died recently.
Ah, yeah.
And Frank Darabont, who is technically Hungarian, but not really. Off that note, I have spent this week, what free time I had this week, playing Hitman 2. And I got a great moment, a great little clip that I put up on my channel, a little 12-second clip of where on the Paris map, I passed by a window that was closed. Got a prompt to attack, and it just said attack. I didn't know what that meant. I was curious what 47 was going to do. I thought like he'd smash through the window and Batman them, right? Like knock them out with a choke slam or something like he always does in those games. Or dive kick, that'd be awesome.
Right.
No, 47 reached through the glass window, grabbed something, and pulled out a T-posing woman in a dress.
As you do.
As you do. And I like the animation probably wasn't designed to look that way, but it looks like 47's confused when he's doing it.
What's in here?
Even he didn't know what he was doing.
He just throws her aside like, what the hell? That game is really good. I liked the Paris level, didn't love it. Addy, you're still at the Paris level, I assume, right?
Yeah.
The game gets way, 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 way better after the Paris level. So far, the Paris level is probably the weakest in the game, I think. Because once you get to Sapienza, Marrakesh, and... Yeah, Sapienza and Marrakesh are full-on, like, cities. Like a considerable stretch of town that you just get to explore on your own. So there's way more freedom. Bangkok and Colorado focus again more on just singular facilities. Though I think Bangkok has a lot more fun since it's a hotel, and you don't. Unlike Paris, you don't need to be disguised to get anywheres.
Because it's a hotel and it gets attacked by the Goblin Army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the complete opposite direction, Colorado, you are sneaking into like a militia outpost of some kind, which I didn't pay attention to the plot because I was talking with someone in it. So at first I assumed it was a white supremacist group, and then I got shot at by a black militia man, and I was like, okay, it's not a white supremacist group. I'd assume. Maybe he's... I don't know.
You never can tell, I guess.
Cut to that one picture of the protests and all that in Charlestonville or whatever, and it's the white dude holding the Black Lives Matter flag, and there's also a black dude walking in the opposite direction holding a Confederate flag.
Yep.
The Colorado mission, because it's entirely militia, there is no social stealth there. It is full-on Metal Gear. So it has really good level variety in that regard. And they do a lot of fun with letting you do things seriously or stupidly as you want.
You call a phone and the voice just shouts at Colonel.
You do have Diana in your ear, so it's close enough.
Diana, I don't know where I put my silence pistols.
What was I going to say? Oh, there's a point I wanted to make, because I also got to put in a little more time into Warhammer 2 this week, which is rare for me these days. And I realized something. What I really appreciate in video games is the ability to approach one problem in a variety of different ways. That's what I'm beginning to notice with time. And especially if you don't have to commit. It's just something I've noticed, because with Hitman, there's all the different ways you can sneak into a building, right?
Right.
You can Metal Gear in, you can disguise yourself, you can parkour on the outside of the building. With Total War Warhammer, there are so many different ways to build an army. Infantry-focused, artillery-focused, cavalry-focused, what have you. Devil May Cry, there are so many different ways to do a combo. There's so many different moves to use. Even like with Rainbow Six Siege and Smite and For Honor, there's such a focus on different characters to use. So I think that's a large part of what I appreciate. And like, even with RPGs, like the RPGs that I tend to enjoy most from a gameplay perspective are the ones that allow respecking for free. Did either of you guys, well, I guess now it's any of you guys, isn't it? Did any of you guys ever play Marvel Heroes back when it came out?
I did very briefly.
Would it have been when it first came out?
Not when it first came out. It was a couple years down the line.
Ah, okay. I put a lot of time into that game in 2015, about a year or two before it got shut down. And what I really enjoyed about that game was not only the variety of different heroes and villains that were playable, but how they varied so wildly in playstyles depending on what build you had. And I mean, you have to have wild variation with those characters. Because I mean, like Iron Man, what RPG role does Iron Man fit into? Is he a tank?
Explosives.
Is he a tank? Is he DPS? Is he? He's a little bit of everything, isn't he? So you can build him to be a tank, or build him to be DPS, or build him to be, middle of the road. And that was what I really enjoyed about that game, and now it's dead.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, hell, it ain't in peace. Its corpse was violated.
Rest in
pieces.
Yeah. That was a major case of like, oh, everyone was suddenly fired, no severance. Before Telltale, actually. Yeah. Some weird stuff going on in the games industry these last couple of years. Something changed. Something changed. All of a sudden, it just suddenly seems like the video game development scene has turned into hell.
That is quite true.
Like, I remember the whole thing with Red
something-
Dead. I remember the whole thing with
Go
Red
ahead.
Dead 2 of the 100-hour work weeks and how nobody was sure whether that was a joke or an exaggeration.
Right.
Because one
I
of
was
the
about to say
Hauser brothers
something.
at first said it, and then it later turned out they were talking about they chose to do it because they're the Hauser brothers. They're pretty much the heads of the project. If they want to put in extra work, that's on them. But then there was stuff turning out like, oh, the programmer missed his child's birth or something.
His child's very first steps, and he missed them.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was his firstborn child and the firstborn child's first steps because he came out of the womb walking.
Ah, okay, he was both.
Yeah.
Walked out with a cigar, monocle, top hat, little cane. He did the whole Looney Tunes frog
It
routine.
was actually.
He was a little Monopoly man.
It was actually just Capitao.
I like the idea of a miniature Capitao. He never got older, he just got bigger.
Yeah.
A small operator in Rainbow Six would be overpowered.
That's what they
job.
say about Ash right now.
The next
Odd
Rainbow
Ash.
Six operator, odd job.
Yeah. He uses Karate Fist.
That'd be great. Just running around, like walking into the objective room and just walking around karate chopping everyone to death. And they're like, what the hell's going on?
But you do the Ora Ora with him.
That'd be an entirely different thing.
Yeah. Like he needs to keep up with the DPS of the guns, so his punches only do 1 damage, but there are 50 punches on the screen at one point, or at any one point.
If you aim forwards while doing it and somebody shoots at you, you reflect the bullets back at them.
Yeah. That's his ability.
I think that might be just about all I've done in the past week. Other than obviously putting a ton of time into Terraria and Siege with you guys, which it does feel good to get back into Siege. It really does. Get back into Siege, For Honor, and it's probably going to feel good to get back into Smite. And I'll have that free time taken away from me once more after spring break. I got 2 weeks. There's a week left until Devil May Cry 5 releases. No, there's 2 weeks. 2 weeks until Devil May Cry 5 releases. I get a week with that of spring break, and then the hard times come. And then the
Hard
Fire
times,
Nation
baby.
comes. Fire Nation. Guys, and then the Fire Nation comes. That's the worst thing when my real accent comes out. Let me tell you, it's the absolute fucking worst. Jesus. It is exposed.
I don't remember. I don't remember. Did you call? I don't remember. By the way, W, did you call my my over exaggerated accent a pikey accent?
I think
Because it fits. Because it fits.
Yeah, I think it does. Now, admittedly, I'm only basing the pikey accent off of Brad Pitt and Snatch, but to my understanding, it's accurate.
I mean, from what description of pikey I read is just gypsy, so it's either a carnival person or gypsy, either or.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that we can call that a podcast.
All right. Fantastic.
Addie, say bye. See, this is the segment, Volcano, where I ask Addie to say bye, and then Addie won't say bye until I'm midway through a conversation about something else, trying to wrap it up, and then Addie says bye just like that.
No.
It's a weekly process.
Yeah, I wanted to
see.
spare I wanted to spare you the intro because I do it that as well.
It becomes a game of strategy, because I have to then draw him out to get him to do it.
The mind games between these two, and I have no idea what
Oh
the
my
ultimate
goodness.
game is.
hunting rabbits.
All right. We'll see you later, folks.